you laughing at? Whoa, look, it's time to go viral. I'm homicidal, I'm killing all my rivals. I'm the man, shit, I put that on the Bible. I Spotify my target, cause you know I got the title. Hey, I'm a Mac too. I told baby shake that ass like she Apple. She said it's real, so she got my...
What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, Viral Gang? We back with another one. Ganging them, no lanes with them. Y'all know what's going on. The viralist podcast on the internet and the realest podcast in the world by far. As always, it's your host that do the most, Mr. Viral himself, aka the villain, because they hate me for my opinion. And we got a full house in the building. What's happening?
What's happening, man? You already know, man. LBC Messiah the Great, man. We here to lead the way. You know what I mean? And y'all see what the fuck going on, man. It's regular. Hit the share, like, subscribe, and hype. Don't forget to hype.
Come on, man. Kali the one. Viral Way Boys in the building.
Yeah.
Viral Way Boys in the building tonight. We got a returning guest, a reoccurring guest. What's happening, young? You back?
Oh, man, I had to pop out one more time. I just had to see what it do. I heard y'all had a lit female.
Talking to Mike, young. Look, you already fucking up.
My bad. Look, I be acting like I'm rapping. I got to remember where I'm at. So this is the virus way. The best way to do it at all times is Willie Beeman Gomez. I had to come and pop out. I love my brothers.
Now, who we got to the right of you right here? Lovely young lady right here.
Hi, y'all. I'm Nakira G, also known as Griot of the Diaspora.
Nakira G, Diaspora. What? Because that's a hot trending topic right now. I done caught myself in a lot of online fades behind the diaspora. So give them a little background of why you call yourself that.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Compton. I studied abroad in Ghana in 2013. I kept going back to Ghana since then. I moved to Ghana in 2022, so I'm back now, but just temporarily. But I study there. I speak one of the languages, Tree, Mikasa Tree. And yeah, I'm a griot, which is a West African storyteller.
Can you say Long Beach in the other language? So you don't speak it?
Long Beach? Yeah.
Or say something, yeah.
Okay, so you live in Ghana. You
Yes.
from Compton.
Yes.
Now let's jump into that diaspora a little bit before we go on to the topics of the day, because there's a lot of rumors online. It's, the Africans hate the Black Americans. Now we got the Black Americans going crazy with the FBA stuff, basically damn near hating Africans. I'm not saying all of them, but the ones you see online. If you from over there, you a tether.
Mm-hmm.
So are the rumors real? Do Africans really hate Black Americans? What is your real live life experience in Africa?
I don't think so. I think that one, we've all been colonized to a very high degree. We've all been taught to be anti-Black and anti-African, even as Black Americans. So we can't deny that. A lot of people here have been taught to not like Africa, regardless of what it looks like. I think that regardless, it's also a class thing we have to kind of really address. You know, the poorer you are, the richer you are, the more opportunities to life and resources that you have. So there's also, not to be that person, but there's also jealousy involved. There's also looking at something that you don't understand. Unfortunately, our history is not really taught over there. Their own history is not necessarily taught to a high degree over there as well. So there is a disconnect between what happened with slavery, who was involved, who became those people. And that's something that even over there on the continent, they still have to uncover as well.
Okay.
So it's not that they hate us. I think it's just, to be clear, the whole world is anti-Black no matter where you go. And then the whole world is anti-Black African as well. Black American as well. And then Black African, right? Because everybody that's African ain't Black. Hope everybody understand that. Right?
Talk your talk.
Everybody on the continent that's African is not Black.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. But Arabs are not Black.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
So I'm just saying, but they own a lot of the continent. So
Yeah, that's the part of Africa I've been to. So I'm gonna go to the part that you was in, but I've been in the Arab part, and they treat us like that's not home. They treat us like that's not our shit. Like they didn't migrate there. So that was my real live life experience on that section of Africa. So how did they treat you when you first got there? Before you learned the language, when they found out you was from America, how were you treated as a Black American?
Well, I was in school. I went to the University of Ghana. So one, I was very sheltered in a lot of ways because I was on campus. I lived on campus. But But I mean, honestly, the same way when I say I'm from Compton, the way that people respond is very much the same way. It's you don't whatever you don't know, you're gonna be uncomfortable with. Um, a lot of people say that people want money. That's a fact. You know, being anything else other than from that country, they're gonna assume that you have money. I wouldn't say that I was treated badly. I think I was just treated as if it was something they didn't understand.
You think you had to like prove yourself a little bit more, maybe against the negative stereotypes that they have of Black Americans?
Some people feel that way. I personally don't live my life as an audition. So I think for me, like I went to school there, so the purpose was to learn. I think a lot of Black Americans go there thinking that they just gonna be the shit just because they American. I didn't have to do that because my major was Africana Studies already. So I already went with a certain knowledge of Africa versus going to Africa and not knowing nothing. So I already knew how to talk to them. I already knew how to approach. I already knew what to wear, what not to wear, even though I still learned those things on the way. But yeah, I didn't feel like I had to prove myself, no. I mean, there's a level of letting people know that you're not, above them or that you think that you're better than them, but I don't think I had to do too much on it.
Were there any racial slurs being used against against Black Americans over there in West
No,
Africa?
not in my experience. I mean, I can't speak for West Africa, but in Ghana, no. I can't, no, because you talking about that Akata word?
Yes.
That's Nigerian. So I didn't experience that in Ghana, no. That's a Nigerian thing.
Okay, so there were no, to your knowledge or your real live life experience, they weren't calling you like the African version of tether.
No. In Ghana, they have a word called Obruni. Obruni is what they call foreigners in general, white people originally, and then it transformed into what they call foreigners. So there was a time early in 2013 where, as a Black American, you would be called Bruni or Bruni. But over time, we have had those conversations with them on a global scale and in a local scale, like, hey, like, we not white. You know what I mean? And so, again, that's an educational thing because there have been times where I've been speaking to a Ghanaian and they'll genuinely say, like, oh, I thought Black Americans were just dark-skinned white people. Like, there's those things, right?
Okay, elaborate on that.
Well, I'm just saying that's just the lack of education. Like, at the end of the day, like, Ghana, like a lot of Anglophone Africa and Francophone Africa still have a colonizer curriculum. Unfortunately, just because it's the continent don't mean that they own their curriculum or their education system. Like, yeah, they own it, but there's still a level of colonization even within that curriculum. So that's why I said earlier, like, everybody doesn't necessarily know the story of slavery, even just because it happened to them as well, as much as people don't remember that. Slavery still happened to Africans. It just happened in a different way. Everybody didn't get shipped. But even still, that part of the history is not necessarily told to them in school or told to them passed down and stuff like that. Like the dungeons that you see people go to, that's not something that the average Ghanaian goes to see. The average Ghanaian can't tell you what happened in those dungeons. That's something that only we go see because there are people who say that's y'all history, right? And so there is a separation, but I think that those things are changing now that so many of us are going over there talking about it.
The only difference that I disagree with and what I learned from my own experience is that we're not as hated as people would like us to think in every other place. And not just saying from my own experience from the countries I've been in, the states I've been, I felt way more hatred in California and the United States than I ever felt than when I traveled. Everywhere I've been that I've experienced, it's been like, damn, it's been like, I don't want to say you a celebrity, but they love to see like just your melanin, your black skin, and they be so happy. At first, it used to bother me far as you get to certain places and they pulling out cameras, they pulling out phones, and you like, damn, what the fuck is y'all doing? You think they looking at you crazy, but they just so happy to see a black person from my experience. So I would say mine's is a little different.
Have you been to Africa?
She said worldwide, most people are anti-black. And I'm speaking from my experience of the places I've been. I ain't been to Africa.
They don't know.
Yeah,
so
nigga.
No, listen, this
That's
is podcast.
Why I said this
podcast etiquette 101. We talking to each other, but there's a crowd viewing, and they don't know if you've been there.
Said from the places I've been.
They don't know where you've been. That's why I asked, have you been to Africa?
They know. Yeah,
they don't know, nigga.
I haven't, nigga. Yes.
Clarify.
But the thing is, though, is that one, you're a man. Okay, so that's gonna always be, we're gonna always have a different experience, right? But two, also when I say that the whole world is anti-black, it's not just about acting anti-black, but it's more so like it's normal for people to be taught to be that, to be taught to not like dark skin, not just anti-black as a race, but also just like anti-dark skin. There's colorism everywhere. So there's certain things that you might experience, or there's certain things that I might experience that you wouldn't necessarily experience also as a man. But I get what you're saying, because I see people who go to Asia and they have a completely different experience, right? But everybody sees those things differently, right? Somebody, me personally, a person pulling out their phone to take pictures of me, that's a problem for me. Now, somebody else, they might think it's cute. They might think like, oh, they think I'm popping. I'm in danger. You do
See,
that with
but
me. So,
before he cut me off, I wasn't elaborating on that.
Yeah.
At first, like I was saying, I had a problem with that. And then when I started pressing people, I had to understand when they broke it down to me the way they viewed it. And I done been around in Saudi, in Bali, in different places around these kids that approach you. Usually, most times, it's taught down from the older generation to the next generation that had no problem coming around you or just being open to you. I know the difference of somebody that's don't like me versus the energy that they give me when they're embracing you. So I know the difference from my own experience. That's the only thing I was getting at more far as I do agree with you though. We're most hated, but at the same time, the things that I've learned before traveling, it was a different experience when I started to.
Now, did you do any business over there? Or did you know of anyone who did any business over there that was from America and flew there strictly for that?
yeah, I mean, most people that are over there are doing business. The business that I did mostly was still freelancing. I built websites and commerce. So I was more so helping Black Americans and Ghanaians like start their online business.
Because you know the movement here with the FBA, you familiar with that, right? Is
For sure.
delineation. That means
Yeah.
separate from the Africans because they feel the Africans over time in history have undermined Black Americans and sided with the government, white supremacy, right?
Mhm.
So they said, you know, we need to delineate from them and build here with the Black Americans, fuck building over there. But there's a lot of opportunities over there. So I always say, you know, find the like-minded ones over there and try to build with them. Is that possible from your live life experience?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. A lot of times, the diaspora will go over to specifically Ghana and they'll do things in a very informal way. And what I mean by that is if you are going to do business and you trying to do big business and you go get some random village boy from down the street and you trusted him with your whole business, that's not smart. Majority of them go over there and do that type of shit. Now, we all know that that's not the shit that they would do if they was out here. You could easily go to a college, you could easily go to a university, you could easily go to like an actual agency and hire professional people. A lot of people are not doing that because a lot of people don't want to spend that money. So that's a bigger issue. I think everybody's doing business in some shape, way, or form. There's a man named Dre Taylor who is from America and he builds real estate out in a place called Abri. And he sells his homes for $175,000, which is considered a very big luxury out there. There's a lot of Black Americans, men and women, that are doing luxury real estate out there. So, I mean, it's more so about how you do your business. Obviously, there's a lot of people who have had unfortunate situations, but just from my experience, a lot of times it's because they went through things informally and they didn't want to go do it by the book.
So they
wanted
tried to
try
take the shortcut route, and then when they
Yeah.
got scammed, oh fuck, Africa scamming all of us. Because that's the number one comment I see is, man, Black Americans go out there with the intent of doing legal business, and we get scammed by the Africans that look like us. So fuck them, we finna delineate.
Yeah.
And you said, yes, that may be true, but they're not telling you they went and found a little village boy who said, hey, I got a deal, bro.
No, that's
He got
that's
finesse.
facts.
Yeah, they didn't go to proper channel. They didn't do the proper channels.
That's the fact. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and I talk about it all the time. But a lot of it has to, like I said, a lot of it has to do with doing it informally. Like if you trying to get shit on the back end, you trying to do something on the side, you don't want to spend the right amount of money and stuff like that. And then you end up trusting somebody who's never done business before. You trusted somebody who, you know what I mean, don't know left from right. Of course they're gonna take your money and run. You can't even contact them. You didn't even check their ID.
Speaking of Black culture, we, being in Black culture, we feel like our culture reaches across the world, right? There's been multiple conversations online, I guess, between the diaspora about Black Americans not really having culture. You being all the way in Ghana, do you feel like our culture transcended over there? Do you feel like they're, for a lack of a better term, biting any of our culture? Like, do you feel like that's a true statement that we don't have culture, or do you disagree with that?
Well, first off, I think we have to know what we define as culture. The commodifications of our culture, I don't have an emotional attachment to me personally.
Mhm.
Now, some people who feel like, the music and the stuff that are products and stuff like that, for some people, that's a lot for them. Me personally, I don't consider that mine because it's not owned by us. And the people who own it don't look like me. So I don't have that particular attachment to it. So it really depends on what we define as culture, right? And I think we also need to kind of break down why some people feel like that. When certain Africans talk about culture, they talk about their food, they talk about the clothes that they wear, that they actually make, right? And we have to be honest about certain things. We don't glamorize our food as Black Americans. We call our food slave food.
Soul
That's
food.
a
Soul food.
Soul
yeah,
food. We don't
slave-
call that shit no
slave
slave
is
food.
we
crazy.
call it soul food.
We don't
but I'm
call that
saying-
shit no slave
We
food.
call it soul food, right? But I'm
Yeah.
saying it ain't no 5-star restaurant.
Yeah,
We
it
don't
is.
do our shit
No,
like
that
that.
shit.
I
You
can't
ain't
say that.
You ain't been to Ted's Kitchen. You tweaking.
Yeah, because
Ted's
I,
Kitchen fire.
Nah, because I prefer some soul food that's cooked in the house more than I would a 5-star
That's
restaurant.
cool, but what I'm saying is that when we talk about culture, there is a difference between what we eating inside the house, which is similar to them, right? But what I'm talking about is, and what I meant by slave food, we all know that there are people who say that our food comes from slavery. Is that not?
I mean,
We don't define it that
we
way,
don't,
though.
we don't define it that way, but we understand
But
the pork, the pig
but that's
intestines and
But
stuff
let's be
like
real,
that.
though.
No. Let me be real. We understand that, but niggas shouldn't be eating pork in general. But that's not the only food that we look at it. I don't look at it as slave food, I should say. But pork, yes, we know them. A lot of things that we eat are bottom feeders and different things like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the reason why it's called soul food is because we were able to make pretty much something
Anything
out
out
of
of
nothing.
anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
And
shit
we
hits
took
your
on-
soul when you
Right.
taste
Yeah,
it.
Then
like-
we took
Okay.
on some of their traditions with the turkey and the dressing.
Yeah,
and
scraps,
you
all
got to
that
understand,
work, yeah.
like, we made nothing out of something. So when she say that, that kind of hit different for me because it's like, we really made nothing. Even right now, we'll make nothing out of something right now with a spread.
Okay, now let's clarify what culture is. So culture is customs, is art, is social institutions, achievements of a particular nation, people, or social group. So we absolutely do have culture. And I'm gonna go on record to say Black American culture is the world's culture at this point.
It's pop
We
culture,
are
yeah.
the only culture that reaches every continent on planet Earth. You don't see no other culture being imitated and emulated the way Black culture does. That's included in Africa. That's included in any country that you go. Oh, they know what Black culture is. So people lose me when they say we don't have
We
culture.
definitely have
I would
culture.
like to
That's
say-
not what I'm saying, though.
No, not you. This is to the crowd.
I don't think we have a definite Black culture. The reason I say that because, like I said, when I experienced going to Saudi, you know everybody is part of the culture. And what I mean is from the way they dress, from the way they eat, everybody is on one code. You don't go nowhere out there in certain places and then the women are a certain way and the men are a certain way. Out here, like if I'm on the West Coast, to me, I would look at culture. Yes, we got the music, we got everything else, but gangbang culture is heavily influenced on the West Coast. And then you can go to the East Coast and their culture might be still some of the remnants of what we have, but it's more music. It's more, it's a little different. Because even from down south to up north, the culture is going to be a little different.
Right.
Well, we're not
but
a
it's
monolith
still-
either, though.
But what I'm saying is it's not
I feel
subsided
like,
under one
I feel
umbrella.
like Americanized, like our American Black culture is a mixture of everything that we seen and we took and made our own.
Just include everybody there.
Everything. 'Cause like well, I get what she's saying as far as like they have a certain way they dress. They talk about their food. Us, we be like, we make oxtail a certain type of way now. We American, Jamaican Blacks. You get where I'm getting at? Like, and a lot of the people have never even been to these countries at all. So it's like, even with we have been heavily influenced by the Jews. Let's be real. They run the social media, they run the television. So this fashion, high fashion, I got on a Gucci belt right now, Gucci pouch. That's not nothing black made.
But do we now? She made
We
got me-
made that
I'm just
popular
saying.
though.
But
Hold on.
She low key got me thinking now because no, she got me
But let
thinking
me-
now
can I
because
clarify?
let me say this real quick. Do we really have culture? Because
We do have culture.
Yes, we have
do- let me-
culture.
let
We
me-
have
let
the
me-
world's
Let me get at what I'm getting
culture.
At, though. Let me get at what I'm getting at though. It's not that we don't have culture. What I'm saying is that I've had these conversations with particularly Ghanaians and particularly West Africans, and I've heard them say that while I'm on the continent. And a lot of times it is because what they see as the product of our culture, the products, the commodification of our culture, right? Those are not necessarily things that are always like top priority. So the reason why I brought up food, right? In Ghana, I eat Ghanaian food morning, noon, and night. The average Black American, do y'all eat Black American food morning, noon, and night?
You could.
You could, but I'm saying like culturally, when we compare ourselves to Asians and we compare ourselves to every other race, most of those other races eat their food majority of the time.
I don't think so.
Just being real.
I don't think so. Not in America because
especially with
we
fast food, everything
America
else.
America is a melting pot. So that's different than being in Ghana where 80-90% of the people around you are gonna be
Eating the
Ghana
same
people
thing.
from
They
Ghana.
have
The
to
same
eat their
thing.
own food.
No, but what I'm saying is that is typically all year around where you walk out your door, you have unlimited options.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
But
saying.
that's-
Like
that's
we're
the
not a
choice.
we're not a
Yeah.
monolith. So when
Yeah.
he says, okay, you go to the East Coast is different. Yes, we created culture out there. That's Black culture out there. You go West Coast, we created culture here. You go down south, we created culture there. We got so many different types of culture. We are one of the only people that's like that.
She has a point though, because even in America, Mexicans, Indians, multiple cultures, they will eat their food all day long, and that's all they eat.
I mean,
you got people who get fast food and shit, but that
nah.
is
But
true.
how
That
many
is true.
black chicken? How many people ate chicken in their house? Probably all the time. But no, this is what I'm getting at though. Like he said, New York, we don't have bodegas. We don't have certain spots that you can just go to prevalently why they eat that more. They
But
have
that's because
they have way
share
more.
our culture in California with the Latino community. So that's probably a little different for us though too.
Regardless of the fact, nobody's eating just what they eat. Like New York, you might eat more pizza in New York. You might eat more Philly cheesesteaks in Philly because that's more there. If we had that here, more people would eat that from a regular branded spot. The tacos, but we automatically know that that's Mexican culture.
Hold on, you gotta get the mic, Young. Like I was saying, in America, I don't think at this point nobody, as far as the younger generations,
Right.
are just predominantly eating their culture's food.
At all, not in America.
Maybe growing up when you had your granny in the house a couple generations ago, Gen Z,
Right.
the end of the millennials and
Right.
Gen Alpha,
We grew up differently.
they
so you're
not
right.
eating just whatever their culture food is in America today.
No, whatever Uber Eats or
Uber Eats,
or what DoorDash, whatever that.
In
got
and
on.
Out, nigga,
So-
Chipotle, they eating all type of shit.
So it goes back to what we were saying. We really don't have a culture because we are so because all of our we have one that we have. We took over and we made scraps into something. We made our own little robot out of the bullshit that they gave us, and I can't take away from that because I'm a part of that. Same thing from the gang banging down to the dancing, down to the just even way we talk. You know what I mean? It is very significant to other states. Like
We
they-
also had a luxury of more things
Right.
than other
We gotta
places.
hustle
Like
hard,
I'm
too.
not just because I grew up on soul food feel like that's the only thing I gotta eat. Like I'm not
Right.
gonna define that as just culture based off of one thing.
Give us more
I
options.
understand the point of it, but it's still more. But
We created a culture from scratch. A lot of times people like to say we don't have culture because when you go back centuries and centuries and centuries, they still speak their native language. They wasn't kidnapped, whether you believe in the transatlantic slave trade or not, stripped of a religion, stripped of their native language, and had to start from scratch and create everything we created in America and still be the most imitated and emulated. There's no way you can't say we don't have culture when the whole entire world literally steals from our culture. From the fashion, like you said, oh, you got a Gucci belt on. Nigga, we made Gucci hot. Yes,
Right,
they
we
might
did.
have made
We
it,
did.
but they
But
not
we-
wearing
right.
it because they people wearing it. They
And-
saw the hustlers on the block.
Right.
The rappers was like, damn, that shit fly. Now the rest of the world want to wear it because we made
Yeah,
it
we
cool.
put it on.
That's cultural influence.
Or even the way we speak, right? Like our lingo, and you'll have you got people on social media now that use terms, which is everyday terms in our community, that they assume that TikTok or Twitter created. And it's like, no, we've been saying this shit since 1955.
Right.
But y'all are using our everyday vernacular now as just the new slang for the week when this is an everyday lifestyle. So even that is culture, the way we speak, the way we put, you know, you might say something different or with a twang instead of saying it super proper because you're Black American. So I think that's culture as well. So it's not just food or music. It's the way we speak, the way we interact with one another, the Black man head nod, all these customs and norms, I believe, too, are part of the culture.
Haircuts, gang.
We've given.
Yeah.
Every race is getting hairlines now. These niggas didn't have hairlines. Every race is getting that 90-degree with the taper on the side. That's Black American culture. Something that just a little as insignificant as that, we don't get the credit for. Like you said,
But that's the point that I'm making,
Go
though,
ahead.
is how do we get the credit for something that like
We didn't make?
We don't. It's not that we didn't make.
No,
it.
we
It's a lot
definitely
of the
made
stuff
it.
we made. But again, like that's why I brought up the food and the clothing specifically, right? Because like what I have on this brass, right?
Put the mic up a little bit.
This brass piece, this Adinkra symbol, right? This Sankofa symbol, like it's certain things that we have had, right? But a lot of stuff has been erased, taken away from us, right? Burned, like just completely like washed out. You know, a lot of our culture is preserved in academic journals. A lot of our culture is preserved in museums that slightly are still not owned by us, really. So what I'm saying more so is that like, and I'm just speaking in the perspective of the conversations that I've had with people, why I've heard them say that in the like, it's not that I agree. I'm just saying more so when I've had these conversations when it comes to food, music, and culture and stuff like that, because there's a lot of part of the clothing that they don't own as well, right? The African print that you see is European and Chinese owned, right? And printed. But the designs may have had some historical meaning, but for the most part, what we call Ankara fabric, you know, the fabric that you guys see, the colorful West African fabric, that's not made in Africa. So, you know, it's not that it's not just about the commodification. I think it's more so that there are certain things that we consider to be near and dear to us, like soul food, but we don't glamorize certain things for people to know that we actually respect it. Yes, people are frying chicken. Yes, the Asians are doing it, right? And like stuff like that. But we have also made slurs out of frying chicken. We've made slurs out of watermelon, not us, but just America at large. So we have to also remember that there's propaganda that's being sent overseas as well.
Mm-hmm.
When our culture is sent overseas, so is the propaganda about our culture as well, right? So how you ask me when people, you know, how do they respond to me, Black American? It's not always just about, oh, you got money. It's the same way when I say I'm from Compton, how people respond to me. It's off of what they heard. You know, I get asked, have I been to jail? Do I do this? Do I do that? By people that live in fucking California. So I'm more so saying like, it's not just about the culture that gets sent over. It's also the propaganda that comes with it. And based off of that person's class will determine kind of like how they interact with that information, whether they believe it's true or not. There's people who tell me like, oh, I grew up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But they'll say it for two reasons. One, they'll say it as like see, we're the same. Like I had a TV. I grew up like you, because they are so used to Black Americans coming over there thinking they ain't got no TV, thinking they never watched TV before. So then you got other people trying to overcompensate. But then you got other people who are saying it because when I say I'm from California, that's their only reference to California. So now they looking at me like I'm fucking Will Smith. So it just depends. Like it just depends on. That's what I mean. Like we have culture. I don't think that's anything to deny. However, I just understand why people say that. Is my point.
Are we ashamed of our culture?
No, I don't think so. I think we are
I think a
ashamed.
lot of people are.
I think we're
I
ashamed
don't
of the
think-
bad parts of the culture, but hell no, we some of the most proudest people in the world. See, I think a lot of people are starting to fall for this fucking propaganda. Like we can look at it on a smaller scale just in California. The rest of the world, due to a couple podcasts and a couple viral moments, think everybody from California is an idiot. If you're a gang member, you're an idiot. You don't know nothing other than street politics and gang politics. And this is here in America. Matter of fact, you can come from Northern California and they think we like that in Southern California, in LA. Oh, them LA niggas, them West Coast niggas, them niggas dumb as hell. So imagine what somebody across the goddamn country is getting fed the propaganda, and it's people here believing that shit on a smaller scale. So people really got to understand propaganda. I don't know nobody that's more proud than black people.
I look at it in a few ways. How proud are we if we wake up and then we get to a point where we want to unalive ourselves? How proud of a black man could I be if I wake up and my mission is to go knock you off as another black man? So we talk about these things and the things that we perceive like a lot of black self-hate, a lot of not knowledge of self, people not loving themselves. Because you only get to a point where if you're stuck in that mindset, how proud can you really be about being black? You're not that proud when you go to the job and then people blaming excuses that I didn't get the job because I was black. You're not that proud of being black as like people make it seem. I would say that. Not saying this is me, but from me looking from another lens and paying attention to what the demographic of people we have. People are quick to go against a black man than they would somebody else and put them in position. So to me, it's like, how proud are you of your culture?
Actions
I
speak louder than words.
I attribute that to tribalism. I wouldn't take that as someone not proud of being black, because you ask anybody from their neighborhood, they proud as a motherfucker to be from there, and they proud of the black people that's from there as well. It's just tribalism got us colorblind in a sense. Like we see the tribe over being black. That's the negative aspect, in my opinion, of what's going on out here on the West Coast at least. It's, it should be black first and then your tribe.
But maybe that does come from a place of self-hate, because most cultures, they look at themselves as a culture or their race before they look at themselves as a team logo or a hat or a street, right? And so I feel like because we've been taught to hate being ourselves so much and we hate being black so much, we cling on to these other things because the only reverse is to love something that you've never really been given anything positive for being. So I feel like that's why you jump to I'm a Crip or I'm blood or I'm on this team or whatever, because these things are looked at as more prevalent and they're more celebrated than you just being a regular everyday black man. So
I think all races do that.
You got that shit.
Nah, but
I think all races do that.
They don't have a choice.
But when you go down,
you got a choice. Nigga.
When you go downtown and we see, not even just downtown, you see them in New York, the Jewish community. We know their culture, even though that might not be really their culture. But far as what we see now, the hats and everything else, they're not outcasting and going after each other. But they're proud to be in a Jewish community, I should say. So for the most part,
but that Jewish community does not identify as regular whites, and regular whites don't identify Jewish as white people. Right. So they do the same thing. It's just not nationalized like black gangbanging, but they do the same thing. You go to Mexico, dark-skinned Mexicans. Oh, you ain't real Mexican. You got to be closer to the light-skinned Spaniards.
You gotta be
like they'll get offended. I'm a what? Hell no, I ain't. It's everywhere. China, they do the same thing. You a triad, you a XYZ. That's over the race. It's just our shit is profitable. They make money off of our shit.
But who made those lines?
Lines of what?
What you said, whereas it's still back to we separate ourselves. Like it's back to all right, you're this, I'm that, and then within like you said, the Watchings, they still, even with the Mexicans, what you just said, you're this and that, they still fall under one thing.
Exactly. So when I get to a point like I said, when you go to certain places, like they will allow their kids to be with anybody, even if they know them or not, based off of culture. And what I mean culture, they follow the same religion. Right, they women rules. Are the same way. Yeah, they have the same everything mixed in. So when you do go against the culture, you're going to automatically be outcasted exemptly by everybody else. Right. It's not going to take a tribe here, a tribe there. Nah, nigga, we fall under. Yeah.
But how many different?
Like what is that thing called when you're separated and we're all rebellious and we just do what we want? Like, what is that? What is it, liberal or what is that? What is that?
Nigga said liberal.
What is that called?
What the fuck?
You mean like a rebel? You mean like a rebel?
Listen, young.
Yeah.
But what he's speaking on is different, because how many different cultures are there in that country? When you go to these foreign third world countries, the whole country is that. Right. When you go to Egypt, 90% of the country is going to be Muslim, and they're going to be Arabs. Maybe 10% be Christians, and those are the outcasts. But for the most part, the entire country is the same thing. It's not the same as being in America. You got black, you got Samoan, you got Asians, you got everybody from everywhere around the world.
But the thing is, though, is that some of those countries are oppressive still.
Bingo.
So we like, and that's the thing as Black Americans, we really do got to stop looking at everybody else shit, because a lot of them people is over there unhappy. A lot of those women over there can't show their fucking hands or eyes. So respectfully, I don't want to be in no shit like that. I don't want to be in a clone mentality. I don't want my next door neighbor to be exactly like me. Like, there are some pros and cons to what we have out here. Obviously, we are under oppression as well. We're still under colonialism. But yeah, when it get to like them other countries, I don't care for, like, respectfully, I don't care for how some of them other countries like run their
The
shit.
grass ain't always as greener. Like you look at North Korea. Oh man, the Koreans, they proud
I'm
to
a
be.
woman, so I have to look at shit different.
They
The
proud to
women
be
there,
Korean.
I
Nigga, if your
would never want to do that.
hey, if your house gets set on fire, you gotta save the picture of the president before your family. You gotta let your kids die before you let that picture burn up, or you will be unalive. But you, from the outside looking in, oh man, North Korea, they proud to be Koreans.
But South Korea is a whole different experience. So I just look at it.
That's
it
due
is-
to the oppression, like she said.
Yeah, no, but South Korea is nothing like North Korea. I
Right.
understand. Yeah, North Korea is the oppression, but it's
But
pros
that's
and
why they split.
yeah, but it's pros and cons to everything. Like I'm saying, I'm just saying when I visualize or when I see culture, then I think of that. Yes, we're the most influential as Black people, but we don't necessarily, because we talk about it all the time. Should we revisit the culture? Should we have new rules? Should we have new construction? Because niggas are lost. Let's just be 100. Most niggas don't even know themselves to have a culture. If you go ask, we can go ask 10 Black people on the street, what culture do you define yourself as? No nigga can give us an example of nothing.
I want to
To me.
say, I would say most Americans are lost in the same sense. If you go ask the average Hispanic, same thing. You go ask the
Yeah.
average white person, same thing. They probably gonna tell you a political party or religion. They ain't gonna tell you about their people's culture back in fucking Europe. Most of these Europeans that live here never been to Europe.
But that's American culture. Is erasure.
Exactly.
Like,
American is
erasure
different.
is American culture. American
Bingo.
culture is assimilation.
But I'm not speaking from that. We to me, I'm speaking as we've been talking about what we are. We talking about Black people. That's where the conversation to me started.
Yeah.
Oh, I go.
I was trying to ask him.
This nigga- hey, look, this
I was trying to ask him
nigga.
off the camera. Yeah.
Oh, no, you good. Like I said, we don't give ourselves enough credit for our culture because, for one, we get demonized for what we create because other cultures want to steal it and monetize it. Like you said, you brought up the watermelon. Watermelon has some of the best benefits on planet Earth,
Right.
but they made us hate it so they can monetize on it.
Right.
You know what I'm
we were
saying?
the ones that monetized on it to begin
Right.
And
with.
we
Yeah.
monetize on it to begin with, but
Right.
they, oh man, big watermelon eating
But
chicken.
that's
Oh,
the
I don't want the
problem, though, is
watermelon.
that what needs to stay a part of our culture is the passing down of our history. Because we have so many things to be embarrassed about, so many of our parents and grandparents don't pass down certain things, right? So it's like, even just like the food, the clothing, and all those types of things, like, every generation has gone through some form of embarrassment about our the way we used to dress. The way we dress has always been a problem. The way that the zoot suits, and before that, like, everything that we have done in this country has always been a problem until it has been commodified. And so that's why I say, like, for me, like, I love our culture. I don't like the way it's commodified, because then we complain about when other people do it, and it's like, but I don't know if I could complain, because if it's a product, anybody can buy the product.
See, I don't complain when they do it. I complain when they don't. I don't even complain. I don't like. One, we don't gatekeep it. So we let everybody else monetize off what we create. Two, when they take what we created and then disrespect the creators as if we didn't.
But
That's where my
disrespected
issue
the
is.
moment it got commodified, right? Because there's certain things in African cultures that I can't buy. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things in Ghana that I can't buy. I have
Like-
to either be a part of that tribe, or I got to be a part of that kingdom, or I got to be a part of that family. In India, there's certain things I can't buy because of who I am. I think that's on us, though. We, like you said, we got to gatekeep that, and we got to make a decision: is this worth the dollar or not?
Like, look at our features. They demonize Black women for having big asses and big lips for years. Demonized. Now, that's the number one selling thing as far as cosmetic goes. Lip fillers and BBLs. But the whole 90s, Black women was demonized for that. So it's like, we can't keep falling for the rage bait. They want to rage bait us out of our culture because they know it's profitable, and then they want to steal it and sell it. Oh, the braids. Black women got demonized for I don't know how long for having braids.
Right.
Boom, Kim K pop on the scene. Oh my God, you see Kim K's hairstyle? Stop it. Kim K looked like the whole fucking essay when she first came out. Straight Mexican, pencil eyebrows and everything. She just stole the prototype of the average everyday black woman.
And I think it's hard, and it's something that our culture we got to understand. It might be hard for people to pay respect to it when they view it as a product, because if I have access to something based off of if I can just buy it, right, or trade for it, then really I can get it when I want it. Therefore, I think the value of it goes down, the integrity of it goes down, and so the respect of it goes down, because you're like, well, this will be here whenever I want to access it. And I feel like a lot of our culture, what she's saying by it being a major in consumerism, and a lot of our shit gets consumed is people view it as just a product.
It's how we get those products, right? When I'm in Ghana, right? When I buy a necklace like this, when I buy their fabric or something, it's the way that I'm buying it. I'm buying it from them. It's different if you buying a black-owned brand in a white mall. Like, you know what I mean? It's different if you're like, I think it's how people get our products. It's not just that it's commodified, it's how we get it. I can buy something that's African fabric and it probably costs me $10 to buy the fabric and to get it made, but I'm gonna value it a lot more because I met the person that made it. I get to have a conversation about what the fabric means and all that type of stuff. It's more so about, it's a different experience. I think that one, yes, we don't gatekeep it, but because if we don't own certain parts of it, how it gets sold and how it gets portrayed is also differently, right? If the first time that you see a certain black-owned clothing brand is in a hip-hop video with a whole bunch of slurs being thrown around, I can't be mad that when somebody decides to wear that shit, they gonna wear that shit and start saying certain shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I can't be mad at that, because when I go to Ghana and I wear certain things, I'm not seeing it like that. I'm not seeing certain things that they do be not disrespected, but like you said, demonized in that type of way. I think it's just more so like, yes, our culture gets commodified, but then it's the people and the companies and the corporations that end up pushing it out. They push it out like with no care.
But that's our fault because one, we didn't monetize on our own culture. Two, we didn't gatekeep it, so we don't get to control the image of it. So at that point, we got to look at ourselves to blame. We created hip hop, but we didn't monetize on it. We didn't get the ownership of it. We gave it away and cried, oh man, they only put out rappers with low vibrational music. Well, that wouldn't have happened if we would have been smart enough to say, hey, we can monetize on this. But I think one issue with black people, we have an abundance filled mindset. We don't have a lackful mindset. We don't have a mindset like, oh, we need to get over on everybody. It's the same way tribes got enslaved, right? They saw people coming over. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna help you. Yeah, here how you take a bath. Hey, look, we got jewels. We got unlimited fucking resources. They sat back and was like, man, these niggas tripping. We could take all this shit and sell it. So they got a different mindset. So I think that's why we don't gatekeep, because we like, nigga, we're unlimited with the ideas. We come up with everything all day long. It's unlimited. We don't even think to monetize on it. Like, this is just us. This is literally just in us. This is what we do.
Because capitalism isn't.
Bingo. To us, for sure, it's not.
Natural.
Yeah, but even with all this information we know, we still see our people signing bad contracts. We still see them getting in business with people where they should have monetized or kept their own and took the longer route. So even with the information, we still move as if we don't have no common sense. To me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's easy to say when you're not coming from a survival mindset of I got zero and then I see something. That's different than being able to, okay, I'm comfortable. I could really read this contract. Not, damn, lights is going off. Mom's hungry. Little sis hungry. My son hungry. Fuck it, give it to me right now. I'll figure it out later.
So who's to say that's not no difference from the people that did the same thing with hip hop? Like, okay, this man comes with X amount of money. I was hurting. I found a way to make some money, and then we blame them for not monetizing on it. But then now we get down and see the effects of generation after generation. Sometimes anything else we look at it, to me now, is an excuse. You don't think so? Why you just looking like that, nigga?
I'm
waiting for you to come back. Because
you
saying like, oh, we don't capitalize on it, and then you give an example of why I'm struggling, why I'm this and that. But 10 years from now, this could have fed you and your family, but you was too worrying about the instant gratification. You was already hurting with the lights off and shit and not. So if they didn't give you this offer, you would still have to figure it out with your millions of ideas.
I agree. Listen, I definitely agree with that. Right now, we're in the age of information, and the wisest thing a person can do is learn from others' mistakes. So at this day and age, to still be making the same mistakes that the first wave and the second wave made, it really ain't no excuse. The first wave, I could see both sides of the coin, but 2026, I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, and I agree to what you're saying to an extent, but like I said, we show too much love, and at the same time, like I said before, we fuck over our people quicker than somebody else. We watching a prime example of the Pooh Shiesty and Gucci thing. We watch him still complain about a fucking contract in 2026 after rapper after rapper after rapper came out and went through the same thing. Then we get to the mindset of we learn from people, not saying learn, but where do you think Diddy's behavior came from? He didn't wake up. They said Diddy was nothing like that until he got around these other people. And then they taught him, okay, this is the way the business is supposed to go if you want to last. And he started doing the same thing. So I just think sometimes we're more influenced and we don't even, that's why I say we're not as prideful as like we like to say we are. Because if you was, you wouldn't make some of those decisions. It's cool to make mistakes, but to keep making the same mistakes, especially after you went through something and then do that to your own people, at that point, it's like you just don't give a fuck.
I would say we more prideful than anybody. We're the only race on this planet to ever successfully buck back at the system. Every other race, all the benefits they got off the back of us, everybody else is subservient to that system except for us. We was the only ones out there on that front line, period. You could look through any time in history, black people. So to say that we not prideful, to me, is crazy. When everybody else just, they bow their head. As long as the government leave them alone.
Is it prideful or survival?
Nigga,
it's like you a lot of them wasn't proud to be frontlining. They wish they probably didn't have to do that, but it was a necessary evil at that point to where it's like, I need to do it.
I'm gonna say the pride for they people made them do that. The ones that's not prideful is the ones who's not fighting. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna just submit. It is what it is. How much pride can you have in your people if you just let them get fucking trampled over?
We see it every day. All we do is go protest. Our people get fucked over all the time.
We fight each other too, so it don't even look good.
Everybody fight each other.
Right, we do us.
Our shit is just put on the front screen of everything.
Right, and our
but when the president of the United States goes on record and says the greatest threat to this country is who? Nobody else. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that has to do with pride. I think that's just capabilities. Right. I think that's just I think that's just studying us as humans and understanding.
I think we have.
Understanding.
Give an example of cultural pride that who got more pride than black people. Give me an example.
I'm saying as far as like American culture, we as blacks, we would die for anything at this point. Like we die for our street, we die for respecting us, we die for like the smallest shit. Like you ain't gonna you ain't gonna take my chain. You ain't gonna come at me this type of way. Nigga can have a whole gun on you. You still gonna be like, bust that bitch. We flinch at death. So at the end of the day, I feel like American pride, the way that we are set up for kamikaze.
Is that pride? Is that prideful or stupidity?
So
it's stupid, but for us it's pride because you got homies that go all the way.
You could call it foolish pride.
Maybe we're conflating two things though, because I think maybe you can be prideful while also lacking self-love. Right. I feel like maybe that's what that's what we're conflating is self-love and pride. Because you can be prideful, I think, so prideful that you don't even realize you lack the self-love. And that's why you're out here doing what you're doing. But you will be, or you'll tell somebody, yeah, I'm proud to be black. But then, like you said, go out and unalive somebody who's black. So how prideful can you really be? I just think that, again, we're lacking the self-love. I think we're conflating the two terms.
I think to look at, we're having like, the conversation to blame it on not having self-love, to me, is a little surface level and is ignoring all the details and the nuance of how we got to this point. We're really the only people that's under constant attack to hate yourself.
Even within our own self, even within our own families. Even we were taught so bad to hate each other that, bro, we have a lot of homies, especially us, that have unalived themselves. Off of, and we there with them every day. We at the park with them every day. We hanging out with them. But whole time, you know what I mean? They were going like one of the homies that I know I love, and I ain't gonna mention his name. Like I had an incident where I talked to him before he was unalive. Like I literally talked to him, and I told him, "Hey, why are you going around that?" And he like, "Man, I ain't got nothing else to do." Like I'm like, bro, you know you got a lot of homies. We all doing something. You do this, go fall under that, go chill, and not even a week later, I'm in Baltimore and he died. So it's like, and by the same person I told him to get away from. So it was one of those situations of, and that person I told him to get away from is the one that underlined him. So to say that, you know what I mean, I feel like, as blacks, as us being, having that, which goes back to that slave mentality, it's just some things that we we are so generational cursed and already like beat down from generation to generation. My grandmother's still alive and she was born in 1938. And she didn't have no education. And now it goes to my mom. My mom didn't graduate, but I graduated. So I look at my mom like, even though I've been to the schooling and things, I understand her, but then it's like, dang, like you really don't know, and you really like, if you don't know no better, you can't teach somebody to know something that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's more beat down to us that we're just more the enlightened ones and the people that are watching us that are very enlightened, they want to change the narrative, and a lot of them they don't know how to or where the steps to. So they look at us as, yeah, we might not have the most millions or we're not famous, but we're still out here.
I just think it's a little lack of knowledge of self. It's
Period. But who gonna teach?
when you're consuming only the negative aspects of your culture, you're gonna start to subconsciously start believing it if you don't see the opposite. And that's what's going on. Every time we get online, we see the worst of the worst of us. That's why I always constantly stress, hey, we need to start showing the best examples of us, because these other cultures are not responsible for our image. We are. So if that's all you see, you start to really think, man, we ain't got no pride.
Even take some accountability only because that's online. If there's as many good black people as we say, then in our everyday lives, you should be able to look at individual examples and say, hey, that might be some of us, but that's not all of us. So at what point do we buck back against the programming and not let it brainwash us?
We allow
so much?
big homies that we call big homies are people with higher influence. We let them slide because as an influence, and y'all know that, like that's why we have little homies, is we influence their steps. And then when you have like our generation where we don't have the Dr. Dre's or the people that have significant influence like Dub C, Ice Cube, that's not even trying to come back and like teach us like, hey, I did it this way, but this is what it is. Like we're the only generation that you can see our growth from beginning of your YouTube, Twitter, that they go look up like how they looked up Draco was a crib, like our blood, whatever he was.
Cube to me was a bad example because we watched Cube go from Boys of the Hood to Are We There Yet?
Look how you did.
But this is what I'm getting at. We expect too much, but it's like, this is what I say. We're not that proud. Be proud of him. Be proud that he came from South Central and made it. How many people, when you started your clothing line, was proud of you for making a clothing line? How many times do you pull up in a new whip and you got more niggas hating on you than you do being proud of you for being to get a new whip? Like niggas don't be proud of niggas. Niggas is not that proud of their culture, as they say. Niggas is proud. Now you could be a prideful person within yourself, but your views might be tainted off of that pride. Now you're not really getting the whole scope. To back to what you just said, fuck online. What do you see in real life? I get acknowledged more by other people than I do black people. And if they do acknowledge me, nigga, they look at me more as a threat than being proud to see another black person coming. The only time we proud to see black people is if I'm in a room full of other, like say if I go in a business establishment or at a meeting or something, and you the only black person, you happy to see one black person. And then you still sketchy about dealing with that.
Because you don't know how you're gonna be.
Yeah, I don't think that's a black thing. I think that's just a human thing. This is my opinion, nigga. I think that's a human thing. If anybody is trying to get something off the ground, everybody is also trying to get their own thing off the ground. So everybody is in their own little bubble. And we oftentimes think, damn, ain't nobody supporting me. No, they trying to get their shit off the ground. They might not notice it until, God damn, hold on, who co-signed that? So sometimes that be our own ego, I believe. Not saying that you shouldn't support your close friends and family, but oftentimes we forget they got shit going on in their life too.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, from the time of the Black Panthers, like, and even before that, Harriet Tubman, there was always niggas that didn't want to go. Like, we've never all been on the same page throughout history. Unfortunately, like, you know, like we have all gone through similar things and gone through the same struggle, but Harriet Tubman didn't have to lay people down for a very specific reason. Everybody didn't agree with Nat Turner. You know what I mean? Fred Hampton is gone because of William O'Neill. Like, we can get bought out. Rest in peace, Nipsey. Like, we can get bought out. And so those are certain conversations that we have to have internally. Why could somebody give you $1 to hate on somebody? Why could somebody give you some fame or popularity to get popular or fame, right? Like, those are certain things. And yes, it is out of survival. And so that's why I think the word pride is a very specific word, because I think that there's a lot more people who are more defensive about our culture than they are proud of our culture. I think it's easier for people to defend themselves when somebody of another race try to say something about it. But what does your everyday life look like, right? I don't like when
Easier
George,
to be reactive than it is proactive.
but also,
Right.
yeah, it's more reactive. But also, like, see how Black businesses get brought up. It only get brought up when somebody pass away. It only get brought up when police brutality is happening. Oh, we need to support Black. Why can't we just support Black when there's not a new news story of somebody getting off? Like, we pick and choose when we want to be proud to be Black. In my personal.
See, my take with the Black business thing, oftentimes they be low budget. And not just because they're Black, lack of funding, lack of funds. So a lot of times people won't support because the quality is just not there. You know what I'm saying? Is I want to support, but gang, you just got a big ass emoji on your shirt. Like, I want some quality fabrics, but the people who own the fabrics, they're pricing us out of getting the Ralph Lauren type of quality where I could wash this sweatsuit for a year straight and that bitch the same color. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of nuance with every conversation. It's not really just like a blanket statement because we Black. And also, I'm not supporting just because you Black. Is it quality? Do I get good service? When I walk in, you gonna get an attitude? Like,
that's true, but then everybody goes to the 99-cent store. So it's like, I mean, that's true. Like, I hear you, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, like, we'll still buy somebody else's shit and the shit be cheap too.
Shit, I don't care who own it. If it's cheap, I ain't coming back to get it.
But she's very right. This is where it's like, what are you?
That's the problem.
This is the problem, because it's like you either pay 99 cents and you give your money goes out of your community in less than 24 hours, or you pay $1.50 and it stays, and this money possibly helps build your community back up. Which,
but we
in the grand scheme of things, which one is more important? And we usually take the 99 cents.
I don't have this obsession with Black excellence. I don't, like, me personally, that term, it's very problematic because I support Black mediocrity. I don't think that all of us are going to be excellent. All of us are not excellent from start to finish. Like, and sometimes some of us do need more support to be better in the next 2-3 years, right? So I think also, like, again, sometimes we don't give our culture grace to actually grow and to be this great thing. We look at each other like, okay, when your shit gonna get off the ground? And it's like, well, after I make 50,000, but I got to start right here. And then when I make that 50,000, it's going to look different in 2-3 years. Microsoft didn't start off perfect. Apple didn't start off perfect, but you know what I mean? Those people still became billionaires at the end of the day, and we still sitting here supporting their shit.
I think
we got to have grace.
I think one thing Black culture needs to get rid of is the savior complex. We're the only race that expect one person to save the entire race. Any one of us that make it out, we looking at that, nigga, you better save everybody. I don't hear no other race saying that a rapper or a singer or an actor needs to save the white race.
Because they
don't have that savior complex, and we do. We hold people responsible for saving us when we should be saving ourselves. Like bro just said,
Jim Crow.
Hold on, like bro just said, man, we don't got the Dr. Dre's, the Ice Cubes, nigga. No disrespect, but fuck them niggas. Why we gotta wait for them niggas? What the fuck Dr. Dre got to do with you and your kids? No, what I'm saying is he did what he did.
The difference.
Do what you do.
The difference is, what I look at it when it comes to races, they're saving each other on every scale. So even if you got, I want to say, maybe we could talk about the job market. We talk about how other races will pull their other races in before they pull one of us in, no matter if you had a better credentials or not, or push you about the way. So in terms, they're working together on the lowest level of the ladder and to the toppest part of the ladder, whether they're in politics, whether they're in just a warehouse, wherever they at. We go into these places. We can go right now in LA to a barbecue spot that's full of Mexicans. They're not pulling no Blacks in there because they can sell, the Blacks still gonna go buy the same barbecue from these Mexicans. But then you can go down the street to a Black barbecue spot and the motherfucker will be empty. So it just, to me, they're already helping each other. There is no, they need to be saved to a point. The same way 10 Mexicans will live in a house. So it's just, it's different things that we have.
I feel like it's embedded in you. I feel like it's hereditary, which is sad to say, because like you grow up with these instincts. You live
Adaptation.
and thrive. Like this is what, and it's sad to say because we talking about this and trying to get understanding of where it started and not knowing it's in us. And that's the sad part about, like, goes back to the Jim Crow, goes back to that. And that goes for all of us, especially African American or whatever the case, because we dislike each other and don't even know why. And we're over here. The main thing about this podcast, what I especially talking to you guys right now, is like we're trying to get an understanding of why and where can we there's it's like, can we change it? Is there any way that we might incite or plant a seed that's so small that might help bigger than us? Because I feel we're lighting already. We know what's up, and we're really going back and forth to be like, okay, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. But some people that don't have that choice or have that mental freedom of where they can be able to travel or not even that. You don't even like, because we're in a silver spoon state anyway. You got county, you got so many assistant programs that will help you not to be homeless. But when it comes down to your mental stability, I have niggas that have money and still are never, ever, ever happy.
Believe it or not, I've met more people mentally free in prison than I have on the streets. People are still shackled to the slaves of the mind more on the streets than I've met in prison. And it's crazy as that saying. Not even just saying that, but people in prison still using their imaginations. People in prison are still doing different things. When I say the mindset or even studying yourself, a lot of things out here, like we said, go back to knowledge of self. More people are not. How many people you think are sitting down and really taking 10, 15 minutes just to sit with themselves? Most people can't even be around themselves, don't even like themselves.
But we don't live in a natural state, though. I think that's why I always say, like, we do have to give ourselves grace, is because we are living under a surveillance state. Number one, we are living under imperialism and colonialism. Like, we're not living genuinely how we would be choosing, right? We're still answering to somebody, no matter what type of CEO or entrepreneur that you are. We still following a certain level of law that we did not write. So that's why it's like, I know what's negative about what happens. I also understand that we're not living in our natural capacity at the same time. And that's just the unfortunate. Of course, these things are going to happen because that was the plan. That was the design.
What do you mean
Like-
we not living natural, as far as just us as a people, or just
America's
Americans
not
in
natural.
general?
America's not natural. Anywhere that has been under colonialism, Ghana is not natural. That's a colonial state. Like, it's a colony at the end of the day. Like, and I'm saying, like, we have all been impacted for, us is just 400 years. And I'm not arguing with the motherfuckers who think it's more than that. But I'm talking about, you start getting on the continent, they've been getting colonized for 1,000 years.
Right.
So when we start asking these type of questions, we have to remember that, like, we didn't just start getting colonized yesterday. This is 1,000 years in the making. So
And-
of course we gonna act like this.
And you gotta see, if you don't know you under attack, it's hard to identify what the attacks are. Perfect example. You just said we're not in our natural state. We're not. Even the colors that's around us. You look at society today, go back 20 years. Look at the colors, from cars to houses to businesses. It went from vibrant colors to dull, like a fucking prison. That affects your state of mind. The type of lighting that's outside. Look at 20 years ago versus now. All of these things are silent attacks, from the blue lights in your screen that's fucking your brain up, from the Wi-Fi signal, scrambling your mind. You as a human are not in your natural state. How do you know? Go out to nature for a month and see how your mind changes. Put your phone down, go out to the woods, go get out around nature, get out around trees where the oxygen levels are higher, and see how your mind changes. You're not even in your natural state as a human, just living in America, like she said, from the food you eat, the chemicals in the water. You got the fucking chemtrails. You under attack every day. And then we sit and blame each other instead of going, man, the system is fucking us up. None of us in our natural right mind. The frequencies we listen to music, they changed it from what was harmony in nature to, damn, this frequency low-key fuck people up. Yep, record all the music in that. Like, you got to really study this shit. The enemy, they sneaky. They'll make you think you the problem. Whole time they putting chemicals in your food. Nigga, testosterone down. Little boys running around with testosterone of a 70-year-old man from 30 years ago. Motherfucker 22, dick don't even get hard.
What you got to say about that, Callie?
That this shit got to be a game.
Hunger
A lot of us motherfuckers is losing because when you really think about it, why would we? It has to be a game because why would any country or any world host people just to make them go through turmoil? It really makes zero sense whatsoever.
But that was the plan. That's the thing that we have to understand as Black Americans. We were never meant to have rights. We were never meant to be a whole human.
3/5 of a man.
We were never meant to be who we are and where we are right now. Latinos including, even though they like to act like slavery didn't happen to them, that's what the fuck happened. None of it, they were manufactured just like we was manufactured. It sounds fucked up, but we were bred. They was bred. We were all bred to be laborers for capitalism. Us getting rights and fighting for that shit, them niggas wasn't planning for that.
So now that we know all this now, where do y'all believe we need to go moving forward?
I think that we need to give each other grace. I think that we need, if we love our culture, we need to love it 24/7, 365. And I say that because, and I'm not one of those people that think like Africa is better and we all need to move there. Please don't.
But you moved there.
I studied it. I paid tuition to move there.
You know, when the
Respect-
prices going up.
So don't move there just because you paid.
Okay, so
Sure, the
let me
price
ask
going
this.
up.
So given
I'm
the
just
choice,
saying.
given
See,
the
they don't want
choice,
your black people doing shit.
No, I'm just saying, like, everybody don't need to come over there is my point. Like, because again, there is a certain level of healing that I would love for people to do before coming over there expecting for some strangers to heal you. That's what a lot of people say. That's why I'm saying that, because a lot of people be like, oh, I'm gonna go to Ghana and I'm gonna get healed. There's a level of healing that I would love for people to do before they get on that plane, is all I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, like, I just think that, one, we need to give each other grace, right? We need to always remember that we are not in a natural state. How we have to treat each other is not natural. How we have to talk to each other, how we have to look at each other in fear is not natural, whether it's a gender thing, a class thing. But on class, I think that we need to have more class consciousness, have more class solidarity, because at the end of the day, that's how the Black Panthers was formed. That's how the civil rights was formed. It wasn't just a bunch of middle class people. It was a lot of poor people in there as well, fighting with people who had a little bit of money. And I think we just need to be, and when I say 365 with our culture in 24/7, I was really lucky to have parents that they're not Pan-African, they're not even like super pro-Black, but all of the entertainment that I watched growing up was Black people. I didn't watch white people growing up. I actually benefited from watching Moesha and watching In Living Color and watching the Wayans. But like, I actually benefited from that because I didn't grow up having hair issues. I didn't grow up having colorism issues. I didn't grow up having body issues. I didn't grow up having none of those type of issues, respectfully. I didn't go to private school. I went to public school. I went to 4 different high schools. Don't ask me why. Like,
Bad as hell.
I benefited.
that was the
That was the constant Compton.
Hey, she had us thinking she was from Ghana for a minute.
They was right when they asked her. Yeah, you been doing all that in Compton. That's why the stigma there.
Your little ass been to LP. Fuck you got going on.
But I'm just saying, like, there's little things that you can do. Like, my parents don't never want to go to Africa. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But I'm saying, like, I benefited from the fact that when I went in the house, I watched Black people. When I left the house, I was around Black people. You know what I mean? And I just think that, and I saw positive images of Black people. So when I got to Ghana, I already knew what kente cloth was. I already knew what certain things in West Africa was, because we've been seeing kente cloth in all of our movies since the 90s. We've seen it, right? So when I got there and I saw it, I was like, oh, I didn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't just foreign to it. So I just think that we need to be more 24/7 and 365 with our shit.
I agree. That's what you said is very important. I think the kids in this generation, maybe the parents of this generation, they're not passing down the gems that we kind of grew up watching. That's a big part. You don't hear kids don't know who Luther is. It seems like these kids ain't growing up on Saturdays, waking up and listening to old slaps or watching the old TV shows and things that we used to watch. Kids ain't watching the 5 Heartbeats. They don't think we thought that was a real group. Kids ain't watching the Jackson American Dream and the Wiz and all of these things that we watched as kids,
Right.
and it put us on our culture just from
It was
to how we
anticipating
respect
that
our elders and
good
just soul
barbecue.
and all of that, the transition of it all. I think that is definitely something that we've lost.
I agree. We definitely lost that, but also TV is not as prominent as it was for us growing up. Like, you got the phones, the iPads, and everything. And they watch what they want to watch. Some parents don't even put the blockers on their kids' phones. You got kids in elementary watching porn. So it's way further than where we was at. Like she said, we had the black shows from the Parkers to Moesha. She just took me back down memory lane with all that. So it is a little different. And a lot of them family shows you was able to enjoy and watch with your mama or your pops or somebody
With the
else.
whole
Where
family,
this is good for adults and kids. So now even with the cartoons is different. You got the two males and two women, and you got a lot of a lot of different things that they pushing on us. And I think that's where the extra work comes in, as far as parents have to do overdrive now, or showing them what to be more focused on and what's not.
And people forget we had old ass parents for the most part.
Oh, yes, we did.
Nigga, our parents of this generation are growing up with the kids. We all had kids early. Our mamas and daddies was old as hell. You got our generation either teenagers or early 20s. So
I knew about the Golden
figuring
Girls.
out. My mom's
God,
watching Golden Girls and shit. So we figuring out life as we go along with our kids. So we not finna be passing Luther down, but we pass many men down. You know what I'm saying? You know
floors,
my kids in the shower playing mini men, nigga.
Yeah.
So I passed my oldies down. Fuck is you talking about?
But I
You
still listen to
tweaking.
oldies because I think it is right to get them in touch with that music, because when you listen to the Delphonics and the OJs and stuff like that, that is a whole different vibe. Like, if you do have a household with a real family dynamic, I think you should implement that. Far as for people, you waking up on Sunday, you got the oldies playing early in the morning, people cleaning up and food going and things. I think that's a different thing that we have to implement. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it could be lost within us. It don't have to stay lost, but it could be a lost art for us.
And it subconsciously gives you examples to look at within your culture. Like when we talking about on the internet, you see niggas, acting a fool. You could go turn on the Bernie Mac show or the Cosby show or Martin or these other shows and see, regular, respectable black men, women, and children act in certain ways that I feel like you're not able to see now, where back then, even if you didn't have an example, you had a Coach Carter, or you had somebody looking and say, okay, I could maybe model myself towards that, even if I don't got a pops or uncle or whatever, where you don't got that at all now.
Yeah, but y'all ain't got no pride.
Niggas idolizing Kai and Deshae and shit. It's
right.
Like, what is niggas really doing?
Nigga make a Tubi movie, y'all clown a nigga. Fuck is y'all talking? Y'all talking about this Black Pride shit? Oh, this nigga the Tubi movie.
I'm not talking about the Black Pride. I'm talking about Black Pride ain't as prideful as you saying it is.
I'm saying it is. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying. I'm saying y'all looking in the wrong places.
You can't say what you just said and did say that.
I'm saying y'all looking in the wrong places, nigga.
We know shit is low budget, nigga.
I'm just saying y'all looking in the wrong places. Because if I go to the takeover, I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers is wild animals. But if I go to a motherfucking wine tasting or listening bar with some classy, upscale black, and they got a totally different experience.
But I think it's also too, like, growing up in LA, right? We still had Lamert Park, right? As much as people be like, oh, people from LA, people from Compton, or people from I hear a lot people say stuff like people from Southern California, it's not a lot of black people there, but it's like, I don't live where the non-black people live, though, respectfully. Like, I grew up in Compton, where Compton was still very black. Obviously, it's not right now, but like, I grew up where, Compton was still very black. I was born in Gardena, so I still grew up and went to school with predominantly black kids. But I think also, like, one of the things that we do in our culture is we ostracize each other. If you a little bit different, we do little weird shit like that. Our kids do little weird shit like that. And I think that's something that I've been learning about a lot with this this diaspora war conversation, hearing a lot of black immigrants talk about how when they was kids, other black kids was calling them certain names. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy, because I'm thinking about it that these were children, right? And these children obviously was hearing that shit from somewhere. So when I'm talking to certain Ghanaians or Africans, I always tell them, like, I didn't grow up hearing my parents say wild shit about Africa. They didn't say anything really about Africa, but the stuff that I watched always had something positive to say about Africa. I was always taught through imagery, through the music. Nate Dogg mentioned Africa all the time. Like, there's certain artists that we grew up with that always mention Africa in certain ways. But I realized that, but how did that get passed down to such a young generation, or a young, like, childhood? How was kids in elementary school saying certain things like that to each other? Like, I don't even know how the African booty scratcher shit even started. I don't even know where that shit came from.
Boys in the hood.
Okay.
Boys in the hood. So let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on the FBA movement or the FBA lineage?
Be careful.
Them niggas ain't gonna do a fuck ass thing to me. First off, it's fuck them. Period, point blank. I don't believe in that shit. I'm a Black American when I'm in Compton. I'm a Black American when I go to Africa. Don't nobody question me about that shit. And if I gotta tell them about my history, I don't mind telling them about my history, but I don't gotta hate another Black person or hate every African that I ever meet just because somebody had a bad experience with an African, because I have bad experiences with Black Americans every goddamn day, and I don't hate y'all. So I don't feel the way that they feel. There's no Mac Daddy pimp nigga licking his lips that's gonna ever make me define my name. I don't believe in that nigga either.
Clarify
Ain't
that.
no-
Say the names. We on the viral way. Say the
Tariq
names.
Nasheed, I would never decide what the fuck my identity is because of him or anything that he doing. I knew who I was before him. So that shit, I think it's a distraction. I think that they helping white supremacy. I think that they helping Republicans. That's how I feel about it.
Now, do you think, minus Tariq Nasheed, let's take Tariq Nasheed out of it, and let's talk about, I guess what we could say the foundation is, right? Which is us being directly from America or having ties from here through slavery and building our own culture based upon that, our tradition, norms, and values. Do you think that, again, outside of Tariq Nasheed, is there something wrong with that? Us wanting to have some separatism or some originality.
We already had that. Did we not?
None to my knowledge.
Yeah, we had that. Absolutely.
What?
Being called a Black American and African American is having that.
But then when we sit here and say, well, Black ain't really a word, it means deaf and other different things.
But that's y'all letting people do that shit with y'all.
It's not.
I don't let nobody do that with me.
It's not necessarily letting us, but like we talk about in being viewed from a certain demographic of people, when you get to certain levels, they're viewing you as just as such. I agree with what you're saying, but when we get to technicalities, a lot of things or rights or certain stuff that they feel like are, I want to say, they reprimand from you in a sense of because you identify as that. Like some people can go in court and fight a court case and be identified a certain way and get treated a certain way based off of the language that you don't know how to use.
But FBA still got Black in it.
I seen a lot of them niggas getting smoked in court
Right.
though. Like I ain't gonna lie, a lot of them niggas be getting smoked.
My point is though, is that like, one, FBA still has the word Black in it, so they're not doing anything like
Nothing different.
inspirational or new, for one. Number two, my thing is that I'm Black because I'm African descent. I don't know why that is an embarrassment that we have Africanisms in our culture. A lot of our culture does come from Africa. I don't see how that's a problem. Now, I understand that there's certain things that people want to feel like, but we built this here. Yes, we built this here under colonialism though, bro. Like certain stuff I don't have, like I'm not fighting another person.
Should that not count though?
You said what?
Should that not count?
It counts. It don't count enough for me to hate somebody.
Should we even be proud of that? Like a
No,
nigga,
we could be
Yeah,
proud
absolutely.
of something. I could be proud of something. When I'm in Ghana, I don't have to, I could dress however, I could do whatever I want to. I don't have to assimilate to their culture. But can't nobody bully me out of that.
I'll
They
say
can ask me certain questions and I'm gonna give them an answer.
The reason I say should you be proud of that, it's like if I bully you and make you build me this whole mic stand and everything else, and I just be like, well, I get all the money from it and you built it, and you be like, nigga, I built that. Like, nigga, but I made you build everything. It wasn't just like you woke up and was like, I'm building all this.
But that's how most of our culture has been built, and we can still love it. I just am not going to use that and weaponize that against somebody else who is also African, who also went under a certain level of colonialism and slavery, just like I did.
Because if we so proud of that, you should be proud of the motherfucker that made you build it.
And see,
You
that's
should
where
be
I
happy
draw
for
the
that.
line, because
Yeah.
I'm not proud, me personally, I'm
Right.
not proud to be American, because to be American was not my choice. I'm not proud of that part. I'm proud to be Black because of what we went through. I'm
So-
not proud of the American part.
Okay, so I got another question, but before that, just to clarify, because people purposely pretend like they don't understand this. Not one person is upset at the fact that Black Americans want to come up with some type of identity that we all can get under and be known as. If it's FBA, it's FBA. If it's African American, it's African American. Not one person gives a fuck that you want to be proud of your lineage. Because that'd be well, what's wrong with us wanting to be proud of the lineage? That is not the problem. It is when you start to look like a white supremacist attack dog, that's where the problem comes in for me. Yes, delineate from rats, snitches, house niggas. If a tether is a house nigga, fuck him. But once I start to see Oh, you African? You a tether. Hold on, you didn't even know this nigga.
Well, they call
You
me that.
Jamaican? You a tether. Hold on, you disagree with Tariq Nasheed? You a tether. You don't blindly follow whatever the fuck we say online? You a tether. That's where the issues come in at. It has zero to do with being proud of your lineage, being proud of what our people did. Zero. None of that. It's when you start to look like the Republican, right-wing, conservative, white attack dog. That's why I'm like, hold on, cuz, wait a minute. This shit is going somewhere
I'm
else.
sick of that tether word anyway.
I get called that all day. And that's why I feel like it's anti-black, because I get called that when I start speaking another language, or when I talk about that I live in Africa. And it's like, oh, so you just think low of black people? Because now what are we talking about? Because I'm Black American, I can't speak another language, I can't learn another language, I can't have the tattoo that I have. I got it. What do you really think a Black American is then? Because then that's when I get called that name. And again, it's anti-black to me, because it's like, I'm not gonna let some 1, 2, 3 experience that I've had with an African person be a reason that I hate the entire continent. I also think that when we start saying things like we want to have our own thing, I need to understand the context of this own thing that we're talking about. What is the own thing that we want to have all of a sudden? And who are the Africans that's trying to take it from us? Because there's little hats that's taking it from us every single day. There's white people that's taking it from us every day. There's no African person that is out here just like deliberately taking something in terms of resource or culture-wise that we should be all up in arms of. When it comes to music, everybody's been doing our music. If you got a problem with any African person doing our music, go talk to Eminem then. We've always been letting people come in and enjoy, and we don't say nothing about it. So my thing is like, I think it's a benefit from the more black people, especially the more dark-skinned black people that come into this country. I think it's a benefit for us. I don't, when I go to African-American museums and like the Smithsonian or the CAM, like the one out here, that's our culture. And they spend all of their time talking about what we built here. At no point I don't know where this came from, where it's like we need to start doing it now. We've been doing that. I just feel like we've been doing it. Every Black American museum that exists in this fucking country been doing that.
I definitely agree. And to me, when they say, oh, they come over here and undermine us, 50 Cent gave an example that's perfect to me, that you can understand in layman's terms, because most people speak street language. Like if the competition down the block, I'm selling here, they selling there, they taking my customers away from me, and I go rob them, take everything off their corner, but then dude around the block keep supplying them and keep taking my customers. I'm not gonna get mad at them. I'm gonna get mad at the dude that's supplying them. So y'all get mad at the Africans or the Jamaicans or the Nigerians who come get the benefits from the government or the tiny hats, but y'all don't get mad at the tiny hats that's giving them the benefits. They can't undermine you without the help of who? They're just the pawn, but the person moving the pawn, that's who you should be mad at, in my opinion. It don't make no sense to be mad at. Nigga, I'm from a third world country. Danner came over here on a goddamn tire in the ocean. And you mad that I took a bit? Like, what the fuck are you talking
But that's
about?
what I was about to talk about, is that now we got to break down the class, though. Every African that come over here ain't poor.
Right.
It's a lot of fucking rich-ass Africans that come over here. It's a lot of government children that come over here, and they rich as fuck. So we also got to be clear about, like, we grew up in LA. Like, I grew up in LA. I didn't grow up around a lot of poor Africans. Little Ethiopia is not poor. It's not in a poor district. It's not in a poor hood. It's not on a poor street. I didn't grow up seeing poor Africans, me personally. Now, people who grew up in New York, on the East Coast, in Philly and all that shit, they have a different relationship with that. But it's regionally. Like, growing up here, we see Ethiopians and Eritreans, them niggas got money.
Nah,
So
that's
it's about-
facts.
Too.
I
It's
think
about what you see.
I think a lot of things on the scale that they try to more so get on the ones that feel like they come here and they despise us. But I don't think they understand either the deeper notes of the propaganda of sometimes, say, if an African can come from a different place and they might land here and they might run into some people that teaches them to look at us differently, to where it's like, well, you from Africa, you're not like these blacks. Then they teach us to look at them differently, where you're not like them Africans. Because the worst thing they can do is us be connected with Africa. So yes, the divide and conquer, they have to keep pushing that. So when they allow them to move up in spaces that they know they can be controlled, because once you come from somewhere else and they change your life like that, like, well, we can let one sit at the table and this is what we want them to see in the forefront, but we're not gonna let 10 more come in the door. And this person is easier to control because you have no roots here in America.
But let
So
me
all
say
you
this,
want to
though.
do is send something back to where you at.
Let me say this, though. We got to remember that's how Ghana got free. That's how Ghana became an independent country. Kwame Nkrumah studied in America and met Black Americans who taught him about what it meant to be Black American, what it meant to be revolutionary, what it meant to fight for freedom. And he went back to Ghana and freed his fucking country. So we have to understand that, like, what you're talking about, divide and conquer is a real thing. That's not just a phrase. Presidents have been able to get their countries independent from our movements. That's a very big deal. And that's why I don't fuck with that FBA shit. Because I don't play with that type of stuff. For Ghana to be the first country in Africa to become independent because they president came over here and studied at our university, Lincoln University, and met with our revolutionaries. And our revolutionaries taught him about being proud and being African and being Black and what freedom was like. And then he went back to his country and he started writing books about neo-imperialism, neo-colonialism, and all that type of stuff, and got his country independent in 1957. And the date is very important, 1957. What started happening after that? In the 60s. Who all started getting unalived after that? That matters. Malcolm X went to Ghana, and he spoke at the school that I went to. And he went to a whole bunch of countries in Africa and spoke to their presidents and spoke to their prime ministers and spoke to their governors directly on behalf of us. He did that shit in the 50s and early 60s.
It's crazy.
They didn't want that connection.
Exactly.
And it's crazy also that you speak on that around those times because they was pushing like you said with the Jim Crow, the war on drugs. But the war on drugs was before it was actually a war on drugs. So when they came with that propaganda, it's a war on drugs, we started seeing the crime rates of us go up. We started seeing the drugs in our communities go up after they dropped everything off and made it seem like we was the ones who orchestrated all this. Yeah.
Like I had seen a clip, I forget who it was. I think it was Sammy Davis Jr. He said Malcolm and Martin didn't get knocked off for preaching separatism for Black people. The reason they got knocked off is when they started traveling around the world going, hey, we need to start connecting with these people over here.
Yeah.
When they traveled to Africa, he went back to
Both of them went to Ghana.
Yeah, they went to Ghana. They went to different places in the Malcolm did in the Middle East and came back and said, hold on, man, we got it all wrong. I thought we just had to separate. Fuck no. This is some class, it's a class thing. It's the elitists versus everybody else. They got us blinded with the split by race. Once they start preaching that, bang, that's when they knock them off. As long as you say, hey, let's separate from everybody else. They cool with that. That's what? Divide and conquer. They over there, we can easily crush them. And they over there, we can easily crush them. Whoa, when they come together, it's a problem.
And Malcolm had power out there. And it's crazy because he got to realizing, okay, it's white Africans. It's this African. Like, he praying with these people the same way. So it gave him a whole different outlook. That's crazy, though.
And he also realized, but when he went to the Middle East, he also realized the anti-Blackness and Arabism as well.
Yeah, them niggas crazy racist. I don't give a fuck. Listen, go to Egypt, nigga. Them niggas are crazy racist. And we sitting right here in the pyramids that they saying they people built. Motherfucker, this motherfucker the same color as me. Man, it's crazy. I never experienced that type of racism from no white people ever in my life.
But
like I did them motherfucking Arabs.
But you think, and you got to think of the mindset of that. If they know the truth, what's the best way to not uncover the truth? Is to oppress us or keep us from knowing the truth, in my opinion. That's why they pressing so hard. It's like, nigga, you the original, you the real one. I don't even want you here, nigga. Yeah, because y'all come, y'all might take over this motherfucker.
Like I'm with the building, but then it has to be something other than yelling out just the lineage online. Education, culture, language, economics, military. I don't ever hear nobody talking about any of that when we start talking about what we're building. It's we're the lineage and we're delineating. That's it. Okay. What's the building in real life though? That's gonna bring us all this power that we saying that we deserve. This our land. We finna get it back. How you gonna take a land back with no military? How you gonna take a land back with no economics? We're still speaking the slave master's language. We didn't make up our own language. Okay, cool. Well, we FBA. What's our religion? Is it the man's religion still? Are we Muslim? Are we Christian? It's no answers there.
I think
that's why I'm like, hold on, cuz we got to go back to the drawing board and we got to really talk about this shit.
I think that part is kind of over with at this point because You got a lot of people that just want to be Christian. You got a lot of people that want to be Muslims. And I think if you're not brought up into a religion, you're not more so going to cope with one. Like me, myself, I'm more of a spiritual person. I don't necessarily just rock with, I get game from all religions, but I don't necessarily knock you from knowing one and the other. So to me, it's like you got to find your own way with God and those things, in my opinion. I think we're too far off to where people gonna come to a one religion.
Well, in my opinion, religion was created to control people. Religion was created to enslave and control people, because once you confine your mind to one religion, you're trapped. And anything that goes against that religion, you're taught that's the enemy, that's the devil talking. Don't even question nothing. Blind faith.
What is the definition of religion? Doing something all the time. That's just it. Waking up every day, drinking, smoking, waking up every day, doing push-ups, working out. That's a religion.
Crip is your religion. They gonna hate me for that. Look, that's that mindset.
We get up every day, niggas say cuz, it says so much. So you gotta understand, like, religion is just something that
you got to think of that though. Gangbanging is a form of religion.
It
is. You just sold your soul to the block, nigga.
It's a religion. It's a culture. It has its own language.
Boy, and if you don't know, you'll get caught in the blender. We see a lot of people get caught in the tracks trying to not knowing where they at. Like that one dude that was on the internet that was at that park, and he said, "Hey, how you doing?" And the nigga was like, "Wait, do you know where you at?" He just banging on the spitting out through the window. Now, don't you ever throw him no gang signs? I was just trying to say, all right, I don't care.
Oh, the black nigga. You talking about, sitting in the car. You like, I hate California.
I hate California now. I just want to go ahead.
They say, why would you pull up to this park anyway, nigga? You could have went to Beverly Hills. You could have went anywhere.
Google Maps or nothing. So you got to understand, yeah, I do get the religion. And then for us, we know never to go over there. But then now let's reverse engineer and unpack that. How crazy is that a black man can't go to a park and another black man without pressing his motherfucking line? Nigga in there minding this business. He was trying to say hi. No, the nigga was trying to say hi. He trying to throw the peace on. You throw up a two, nigga. What wrong with you? I get it. Like, it's a cold twist. It's a cold twist. Yeah, we can't unpack this. Y'all know damn well that this is a system that has been like genetically built forever, ever. And for us to be the enlightened ones, hopefully, it's genetically built.
I just think we reaching a point now.
They clone Tyrone ass niggas. This shit was genetically built, nigga.
That's partly true, though.
They built this shit in the lab, nigga.
That clone Tyrone has some real shit going on with it.
Come on, man.
But I think we getting to a point now, it's just getting to a point where you separating from consciousness. That's where it's getting at. You have to you going to be on a higher consciousness or you going to be on the lower one. Your vibration and your frequency, because that's where the like-minded people come at. When you have these conversations, you get to a point, it's going to be like, man, if your mind, if you get to a point now, it's like, I understand the youth. But when you get to a point when you understand and know better and you still choose to be ignorant 365 days of the year, who going to respect that? Like, it's no way in the world that you still feel like I got to self-destruct. Unless you got a death wish, then by all means, go find that motherfucker. But other than that, you's an idiot. There's no way around it.
I don't know. I agree with you 100%. And I really, from my point of view, I feel like everything is about to come to an end because of, like, not the world, but I say as far as like it's frowned upon to go, like, even though it's happening still to this day. When somebody died, people are more sad and look at the ignorance of it instead of like, oh yeah, you got your man, or that was little Pooh Dog that, yeah, y'all don't play with him no more. Now it's like, Pooh Dog gotta go to jail. We can't have you just keep killing everybody. So I feel like
I don't think like that.
Get the fuck up out of here.
We gotta look at what they doing on these dudes.
I ain't thinking like that.
They saw Draco murder.
Yeah, I know. Those things is a different. Oh, you saying like the regular civilians?
Like,
yeah.
Everybody, even now, if you follow these new ones, like Million Hits, shouts to him, or West Coast Gang War, shouts to them too. They little, they platform. They really. They might be cracking the jokes, or Million Hits. He's a little more older. He be on the scene, and then West Coast. I don't know how he get his footage, but he get all of the newest gangbangers that we don't even know.
Unlocking them like Pokemons.
The new Pokemons that came out. He made sure he let us know that they've been unalive. And then when you look at the comments, people are not like, you had the people like
ain't no sympathizing.
They are hella like, oh my God, we need to stop that. So I think everything is being more sensitized. and more like, I mean, what we're preaching, I feel like we are having an impact to a certain extent. Just because we still on ground zero, we got to go through it. Just like how they got to go through it in Iran or Israel. I feel like there's nobody greater than what they're going through, and what we're going through is nobody greater because we losing. Now y'all getting blown the fuck up. My bad about that.
It's crazy.
But you throw the wrong hood up, you can get blown up too.
Yeah, I just look at it. I look at it in a sense.
Hold on, wait. Yeah. They just dropped like 80 nukes on the mix.
My bad, yeah.
Y'all might got it a little worse right now.
Hey,
I look at it in a sense as we lacing people and whatever mind is supposed to be sparked. Like I say, like-minded people gonna catch it, and if you don't, it wasn't for you. That means that you're not who I'm supposed to be speaking to, or you're not supposed to be listening to me right now in this time of your life. Maybe you come back to it later. But even if I think about it on another note, we brainwashed by the block, we brainwashed by a lot of different things.
Music.
Trying to be attached to something. People just want to be a part of something. People want to feel important. But when you really unpack everything, like I said, reverse engineer, think about how many people, when you go to them funerals, show up for you. And then question how many people show up for you in real life. A nigga, the whole hood will come to that funeral. Right. But let nigga be going through something. The whole hood ain't showing up. No, nigga don't give a fuck what cuz dealing with. He better figure it out. Like, you got to select fewer niggas that's gonna be there for you. But for the most part, you have to understand and just charge that to the game. But it is a fucked up mindset to have.
Hey, let's unpack this, right? So a 31-year-old viral influencer, Ashlee Janae, was found unalived in her Tanzania hotel room after her white husband, John McCann, allegedly strangled her, then hung her lifeless body to stage a suicide. So the code game is he kept posting on social media like nothing happened while she was basically in the room hanging. And the only reason her parents found out was through the passport emergency contacts because she was gone so long. And they're like, man, what the fuck is going on? So he proposed to her on her birthday. Boom, unalive her. He's in custody. Now, this woman was on social media ranting and raving about how black men ain't shit. Black men are the problems to everything in the world. Black men are black women's worst enemy. And white ice is cooler than black ice. And people on her social media, literally like 20 weeks ago, somebody left a comment and said, hey, dude gonna unalive you. Like, this is on her Instagram. Somebody black said, oh, you with him? Yeah, you ain't seen what's going on with this trend of white men unaliving their black girlfriends? Because this ain't just her. It's been a whole list of them. It's been going on. You had the one cop who shot his black wife, then spit on her body. It was a whole list of them. You can look them up on social media. What y'all think about this? Should we feel sorry for her?
No, we shouldn't. Because if it was the other way around, we wouldn't feel sorry. When we just seen dude just got chipped by the white girl like a year ago, and niggas was pulling up his tweets saying the same shit. Facts. So it's like, it is what it is. You fucked around, you found out.
They would be considered tethers to me.
That's how I look
That's
at
a tether right there.
I don't wish death upon nobody, but when you're talking like that and you're just spewing so much hate, and then the universe gives it back tenfold, what you gonna do? It's like, am I supposed to feel sorry for you? I can't. I really can't, because in my eyes, you avoided all of bro's red flags because he was white. Bro was probably tweaking and weird and every other thing, but people are so hell-bent on, again, some people are getting that image and getting that look, and they're so hurt by their black brothers or their black sisters that they go and they do some crazy shit. They want to make it's some revenge shit, and then at the end of the day, it don't go out the way it was supposed to.
It's messed up to me because I agree it's not our fight, but then on a bigger scale, it's our fight because of this. If that matters to people, so it's like, then you did all this to go against your people. Then it's like, but then y'all expect the men to come out and step up for you, because you. And I'm not gonna say women are not gonna do it, but when it comes to situations like this, you naturally want men to be the aggressors and come to the forefront. So it's like, be careful of what y'all saying about us and men as well, because you get to these points, they don't really fuck with you like you say you do. You was nothing but a fetish to this man. Even looking on the pictures on the plane, I'm looking at the nigga looking crazy, like, yeah, I'm finna knock her off as soon as I get off this motherfucker. Like, so insane. That's how he was looking. Nigga, see, so you ever seen a picture of somebody smiling so happy, and then somebody just got the jealous or envy look in the picture? You like, damn, why could looking like that in that picture? Like, it was no type of love. It was no type of nothing. And for you to do that on your birthday, the greatest day in your life, Ain't nobody. And then ironic how big it is, nigga. You went to Africa, nigga, and hung this girl. That's how allegedly. That's what I'm gonna go with to me because you wanted to make a statement, and then I heard he free. To keep it G, I don't even know if he's still locked up. I got to do more research on that, but it's just wild. Y'all black women stick to the black men. That's it. Everything else that y'all think y'all want, that ain't it.
And I feel like we don't pay no sympathy for it just because of the fact that she really smothered us real bad. And it was like, and she got to understand that, you know, like you said, energy is everything, but it's viewable. You think we just see that? He see that too. So he's looking at this like, oh yeah,
You a lick.
good. Yo, you ready? You a lick.
He got her in the mindset of it.
I'm about to wear you out, beat you, treat you, I don't care. And I'm about to take you out the country with me, you by yourself. So Papa all like, yeah, you swayed my money. And then we see all these movies where right when they get them a long hunt, you like my money, you dirty bitch. Wow, slapping her up. Not to say it like that, but to be on some whole other, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like, because that's somebody's sister, excuse me. That's somebody's sister, that's somebody's auntie, whatever the case may be. And I, you know, as our skin tone, yeah, we feel that empathy. But, you know, like, you know, at the end of the day, I just feel like I can't feel sympathy for you setting your own demise, knowing what the universe can do, especially if you're smutting the same thing that you want to.
I don't even think she went out of her way,
you.
but you can praise your interracial relationship without knocking the black man. Like, that's why I say, like, we aren't that prideful. If we was that prideful, people like her wouldn't exist.
I'm not gonna say we because she don't represent us.
Yeah, I'm just, but according to the society, everybody else she do. If she just, when she was in Africa and people seen her, they looked at her. They ain't gonna look at her no different than they looked at us. So I'm just saying in that sense, not necessarily we understand all skin folk ain't kinfolk, but to the naked eye, all y'all in the same boat.
Interesting. I will say this though. I think that there's two different conversations that's happening that we're kind of conflating. One, the interracial bashing, the interracial dating and simultaneously bashing thing, I think is a very separate conversation, right? Because we all see everybody does it. Any race does it. Every gender does it. So I don't think I don't want to get into like the gender wars of it because as a dark-skinned woman, the only foul shit that I've ever heard be said to me is coming from a black man, period, point blank. Like that's just my personal experience. So it's like, again, like I said earlier, there is a certain level of cultural grace that I just particularly have for people because I seen the tweets. I also seen the other tweets that said don't pedestalize white men and stuff like that. I also seen a lot of those tweets being from like 10, 15 years ago. A lot of that stuff being like 2015, 2012. Respectfully, Twitter was a cesspool for colorism and anti-blackness for everybody. Everybody done kind of said some crazy ass shit back in the day. I'm not excusing that. I think that that's a separate conversation when we have like the back and forth, the way that we talk about each other. I think that that should not be correlated to domestic violence because then when we start talking about domestic violence and we start looking at DV rates with black couples, that shit ain't cute. So we can't I'm not gonna be that person that's like, oh, like if you was with a black man, that wouldn't have happened. It's the same way like when we see black men have DV relationships with the white women. And when the white women call the police, you see the comments that be like, see, if he was with a black woman, she wouldn't have called the police. Whoa, scary. Like, but they're saying it as if we shouldn't call the police because we're black, which is insane. So I think that, again, there's certain things that we should be having conversations about in our culture. I'm never going to say that I don't feel sorry for somebody passing away. I don't give a fuck what they was doing it for because I believe that, and she's not a sex worker and she's not an escort, but I'm saying even if she was, I still don't believe that those people deserve that. However, I do think that there's a conversation that we should be having internally to where, why did she think that that was okay? Why do we allow for that to even happen? Why do we even allow for dating outside of our race and saying this simultaneously as if it's going to be better? That's something that we already do. And she was saying that type of shit back in 2015. So I think that, again, like how we were talking about earlier about culture, certain things not being passed down, certain conversations not being passed down, and then you got people that's living out of survival. Respectfully, a lot of black women are told to date out of survival. A lot of black women are not told to date because you really like the nigga. So we also got to kind of be honest about some of these things. I can't be mad that a certain black woman used her beauty to get by when that's what a lot of black women are told.
How do
to
you feel
to get
about
by.
this? How do you feel about the situation?
Specifically, what her
Just
passing?
the whole thing. It's
Her saying all that crazy
I'm
shit.
not gonna
then
say that I
passing.
don't feel sympathy. I do feel sympathy that she passed away. Period. Point blank. Regardless of what she said.
It all to
She
me,
died,
To
like-
me, it all matters. When this happened, it's a butterfly effect. So,
But what does
It's-
you caring look like? Even if she didn't do that, how would you show your care?
No, land your point. Land your point.
what I'm
Kevin.
saying is that you could take any two people in any interracial or not even an interracial, and when something like this happens, the first thing we do is reverse engineer to figure out how this possibly could have happened. So, in the midst of that, we're finding out that this person was, quote unquote, against us. I think that while we don't feel bad about it, her passing away, it's like uncovering that. I think that there's an amount of grace that you can't give. We talk about Twitter in 2015. How old was she? In the
31.
She's
not too
20
long
something.
ago,
She's
right?
a grown
No,
ass
she's
woman.
31, so that was 16 years ago,
So-
which means that she
so-
was 15.
Oh, and you said
No,
in 20
15. We in 26.
2015.
That's 11 years
26.
ago, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she's a grown ass woman, and people have paid for their tweets over and over. This is cancel culture, et cetera. So it's like when you put stuff out there, to me personally, you have to be held accountable for it. I think we can separate it and we can have empathy, but we have to be logical and I think speak to how maybe her viewpoints and her experiences and X, Y, and Z led her into that situation. Doesn't mean that it's justified, because it's definitely not. But you have to, when you reverse engineer, look at that.
I don't know no niggas, no black people coming from the US or wherever, going to Africa and hanging nobody. I've never heard of it.
But
And
that's
I'm not saying it can't happen, but I want to ask you a question, because you brought up our ancestors earlier with Harriet Tubman and them. You said they had to step on some people. Wish she had been somebody back then that had to get stepped on.
But again, I think that most people.
No, I'm just
in their-
asking.
No,
I just
I
want you
know.
to-
I'm about
yeah.
to answer it. I think that most people in their early 20s in this country can be very ignorant. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like everybody at the age of 20 and 21, they got the best views on colorism. They got the best experience on blackness. They could sit here and tell you the best things that they've ever experienced about being a black person. That's why I said that I just have a certain level of cultural grace. The thing about the Tanzania thing that I also want to mention is that Tanzania already got their own femicide issue. So when I look at this from an African lens, and when I'm having conversations with certain African women on the continent, there's already a femicide issue that exists amongst their own people, amongst their own men and women, not even including the foreigners, where there are way too many women getting unalived. So for some of these countries, these white tea people do know that they can go to some of these countries and do some of the shit that they do, and they not gonna get caught. That's just number one.
See, I don't
So
like.
we-
Hold
so
on.
look at
I
it
don't like
that.
that, because that's like shifting the blame to the niggas over there. Like,
Right,
well, he
like
did
trying
to
it.
make them-
No,
yeah.
that white man
I'm not shifting the blame.
allegedly unalived her, and the punchline of it all is she demonized us, thinking that we would do that to her, and put him on a pedestal as if he would never do it, and he's the exact one who did it.
And
And
simple
we've
as
seen
that.
this time and time and time again. And I'm not giving grace because you was on Twitter 10 years ago, because so was I. And I never was on Twitter saying, yeah, white is right, and then white ice is cooler, and
So-
snow bunnies, and
It's a
if it's
difference
snowing,
from-
I'm
it's a
going.
difference
No,
because ignorance
hold
and
on,
just being
because it's a
hateful, yeah.
difference between us making jokes amongst each other, like, oh, you a burnt biscuit or something, like, the colorism between us. But I still love black women, even though I might hate this black bitch over here because my personal experience, but I don't blanket that over the whole race. Or I might date outside of my race, but that don't mean I'm gonna talk down on black women. So I have zero grace for people who turn against the entire race for another race, and that race takes them out. You was an enemy of us.
Right.
Because like you said, the Harriet Tubman days, your black ass would have been giving him the blueprints of the Underground Railroad to fuck us off, thinking that he was your ally. So zero grace for me.
But I think that the bigger conversation, for me at least, is that one, just because you love your people don't mean that DV is not gonna happen to you. So
That's-
I-
we-
I-
Yeah,
I-
but that's
We're-
like
we're-
a case by case basis.
We're
That's-
not even.
but
We're
this
not.
that has
situation
zero
is
to
a
do
case
with
by
We're
race.
not
case
saying
basis.
we're not saying that DV is cool or none of that. The whole point was, even that fact that she was dealing with it's no, the dealing with the white man. It's just ironic that you hated your people so much and praised this whole other person like he was godly to you, and he's the one that end up being the devil in your bed.
But say that. What I'm saying is there's people online saying that happened because just simply because if you would have dated black, that would have never happened to you.
No,
I'm speaking to those people specifically.
I mean,
We
they
can't say
can't say that because it didn't happen. They're saying you should have stuck black, and that probably wouldn't have happened. It can happen because her untimely demise came from a white person after she shitted on people, and that was like a wake up. Not necessarily a wake up, but it goes back to the energy in the universe doesn't never miss. That could be for anybody. That could be for anybody speaking in a certain way. The universe is going to return that energy. And it just happened to happen the way it did. Even to the point of we can't blame them people out there. They damn near said now it's coming out as strangulation. Nigga probably strangled her than hungered.
Like, let's be real. A nigga, most y'all might get in a shoving match or a little fist fight. I don't know niggas that's hanging at girls, that's cutting them up, eating them, like doing all the weird shit we hear them doing when they go date over there.
But that's the thing though. Like I don't.
But see, when we do this, I don't like when we do the
We're taking it away from.
I don't like when we do the whataboutism. Yes, we can point over here, but you can also point to the Hispanic, to the Asian, to the this. So it's kind of like justifying what he did because we can compare it to a black case. It's like, let's stick to this case. He was white, she was black, and she hated her own people. That got zero to do with us.
Right.
Would I be wrong to make it a gender
But
thing?
we shouldn't be censoring black men then
You said what?
exactly the conversation.
Hell no, you wouldn't be wrong because
would I be wrong to make it a gender thing? And I think people are finding more justifications and excuses and empathy because she's a woman. Because I'm telling you, we just had this same situation with and he had the same type of tweets and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared.
They killed him.
Yeah.
and not even just
she
him.
got off.
They
Nobody
said that's
cared.
what he get.
Hey, not even just
Yeah,
him.
nobody cared.
We had Kevin Samuels just holding women accountable. And when he died, black women celebrated as if he did what this woman did. And all he did was say, hey, we just holding y'all accountable. They partied, nigga, popped champagne, said this is karma for what?
So this is karma for a man trying to lace him up.
Karma for asking you to get in shape, to be more feminine, to be loyal, to be submissive, and to wear your real
But
hair.
I think the difference though is that when we say things like, oh, I would have cared, respectfully, okay, what does your care look like though? Okay, let's say she was the perfect victim or anybody else in these situations. What does your care look like?
The same,
what's the difference?
The same way your care look like, oh man, I feel sorry. All right, keep scrolling. What do you want niggas to do? Go slide on him? The nigga,
No,
he in jail.
but I'm saying that like sometimes like we're speaking as if like our opinion on shit is that powerful, which is half of the reason, in my personal opinion, why some of this shit happened and why we do some of this shit to each other is because there is no consequence regardless of whether we give a fuck or not.
Some people's opinions are more powerful, and you might get certain people that's, I don't want to say liberals or people in certain status that might bring that more to light, that might help get justice for the family instead of letting this go under the rug, because it can well off be in a whole nother country and just get brushed over. The moment we stop talking about it now, it could just be, okay, forgot about, he pay his way up out of that. Like more people would be given more of a push. We see it all the time. We watching it right now with the dude that just got unalived by the police in Inglewood. It finally made the news when they tried to cover that up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so before they had the video, though, everybody was like, well, what if me saying something is going to do? And then it got to a point where somebody just came out and had a video. Like, everything is being recorded.
And we live in a time now where people are looking at what you do online as a precursor to what kind of support they give you. That is just what it is. We've seen people be canceled. Kevin Hart, the biggest of names, lose shows. Regular niggas going to work and they were going up to a Ring camera and he say some job gone.
Right.
So it's like now people are looking at what you do on social media, and even if it's a personality, even if it was a time period, etc., they're going to take that and that's what they're going to say that's you. So you have to be careful what you put online. And we live in this parasocial time where people think they know you because of that. So when you and we lived in that time in 2015 too. It just wasn't is high power yet, but we still was, niggas had Twitter names and that's what they was going off of. So when you hop online and you do X, Y, and Z especially in this generation, people, that's the first thing people are gonna go do, because even us, you have a white dude, nigga, Timothy Chalamet. Niggas was asking on Twitter, hey, let's go back and make sure he didn't say nothing racist before we say he's a cool white boy. Because you got to do that now.
And not even to say it like that. It's like, and this is our respect, you know, to Nip. Like we always go back to that. He was $1 million. He made it, but he still went to somebody and got into politics of saying you're a snitch, or even of that reference.
Allegedly,
he got took out of that. So it's just like your words are so captivated because you got like two sides of that. We got the people that's like, yeah, man, you were trying to do this and that. And then you got people that's in our politics like, man, you know damn well, you better not say that to me. If you would have said that to me, it's either fight or flight. So it's like that social media is really, really, even with Trump, look what he say. He say, Iran, we don't like them because they did this and that. And you'll have the whole world like, yeah, kill all of them. Kill all of them. And the whole time, you got people like us over there. Like, what did we do?
What the fuck did that have to do with her getting strangled?
No, I'm saying because y'all talking about as far as everybody looking from social media. Like, social media is such a prominent place where people judge you, and we characterize off of the fact that you could be the greatest person right now, but then you did something on social media that was so terrible, you stole from somebody, and you spit on somebody. Now we all said,
now it changed how they view it.
It changed your narrative.
I think it changed the narrative. But
okay, I'm trying to see where you was letting that play. What the fuck is Cut talking about right now?
For sure, but I think she was getting to the more of a point.
A little turbulence on that plane.
You don't make a difference if it was or wasn't. If she had the tweets or she didn't have the tweets, whatever happened still happened.
And 9 times out of 10, when these tweets get pulled up, it's not really jokes. It's some shit that you can feel the personal in it, or the disdain for a certain group or race or theme or religion, etc. Like when you go and pull up most people's old tweets and they get exposed for that, that's the vibes that it give off. It doesn't always just give off as I was an immature kid. Like you went and did this for 6 months straight, a year straight. That's not you just waking up one day and being hot at the nigga who broke your heart or whatever. Like you feel like this for real. So own that shit in life and in death.
And the reason I say I look at it more than one way is because now it gets to points where it makes us look weak. It makes our people like these things are still going on. And it's fucked up because however she developed that mindset to even date or feel comfortable getting to that point. I don't even know the age bracket of them, like what their relationship was, but it's just like they need to do their due diligence on who you dealing with too. You're not going to have the same outcome. You're not going to have the same connections to a white family as you would a black family. You're not going to be embraced the same way. You might not even get to know their parents or know their truth about them. Black people ain't going to sugarcoat shit when it come to you walking in their house or how your mama feel about your mate or somebody else. They going to tell it to you raw, and they going to let them know. White people can hide all that shit. They've been hiding hatred for us for as long as we've been knowing. So yes, I think it plays a lot of different parts, and we can probably say it wouldn't have happened. You was out there with a nigga.
No, that's a fact. And one thing I noticed a lot of women do, and she just did it. She was like, the only disrespect I ever encountered really was from a black man. And then oftentimes I ask them, well, how many other races that you actually dated to encounter some type of disrespect from? And oftentimes they've never dated outside of their race. So it's almost like a confirmation bias. If you didn't date a white man, a Hispanic man, an Asian man, then chances are you're not really interacting with them to even get any disrespect from them. But they disrespect their women too. Because if you look at the DV rates,
that's the point that
they beating their women ass too.
That's the point that I'm making.
At a higher rate.
At higher rates.
They women just be taking that shit.
Exactly.
But that's the point that I'm making though, is that because I have dated outside of my race, right? So I do know that experience because I've lived outside of California, outside of LA. So I'm being literal when I say that, not necessarily like figurative. I think but I was talking about more so like that's not enough for me to blanket that and say I have a whole horrible experience with every single person. Mm-hmm. Whereas similar to the FBA situation where certain people can have 1 or 2 bad situations and that's enough for them. I'm particularly saying that me personally, 1, through colorism, and 2, through my gender and a whole bunch of other things, a lot of the disrespect that I've had in my life has only been from my own people. That's not just romantically. It's not even just people that I'm dealing with romantically. That's just walking down the fucking street, honestly. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying like it's a hierarchy. What I'm saying is that how we see something, how we gonna handle something, I can't expect the next woman to also handle it like that. For some people, they have one bad experience and it's all for everybody. So I think that like I would love to have known more about her particular situation because just like what you said, there's some people who didn't date black men at all that still just talk shit about black men, right? Like I don't know this girl's story to make all of these types of assumptions. There's people who've never dated a white man before and they praise them. Like that's the unfortunate parts of our culture. That's why I said before, what I think like when I see these situations, because these situations happen every day, what I think about is how did we get here? And I can't be mad because unfortunately that has been pushed in our culture. Dating older, dating richer, dating whiter has been pushed in our culture. And I can't deny that. I can't act like she just one person. There's people's mamas that's telling them that. There's people's grannies that's telling them that. There's TV, there's music that like, so I can understand how it happens. It doesn't mean that I agree or I condone it. I'm just saying that we can't act like we breed everybody or we raise everybody in our culture to be so pro-black and all of this. That's just not true. Of course, somebody's gonna end up with some rich white man if this is the culture that we are dealing with and this is the way that we treat each other and whatever the case may be. I'm just saying like, I can understand how that shit gonna happen. That's not what the fuck I wanna do. But I'm gonna understand that if somebody that people call a bad bitch, a video vixen, that how you identify her as a vixen, right? I can understand how somebody who lets people call them a vixen is going to go to the highest bidder. I don't know how that's not like, yeah.
I'm gonna just say
that.
this. Hold on. I have no understanding of people hating their entire race. That's literally you hate yourself. Point, yeah. I have zero understanding. I don't care if I dated 20 black women in a row and they all 20 of them wasn't shit. Nowhere amongst that am I gonna say I hate all black women. No, not you. I'm saying for me.
Okay,
I'm saying I don't understand.
I'm not saying I agree though. I'm saying
I'm not saying you agree.
Yeah, okay,
I'm saying for the people who this is their mindset.
Yeah.
I dated 3 black men, they wasn't shit all black. I would never. I don't care if I dated 100 black women and they wasn't shit. It's millions of black women. So I'm black. So there's no way I can ever understand that mindset.
But people do that.
They're dumb. They're ignorant. They're retarded to me. That's just my opinion. But look online, there's a trend of white women actually starting to come out and vocalize their dealings with white men, and it's not as great as these other races have been panning it out to be, right? You got black women, never dated a white man ever in life, telling other black women, yeah, niggas ain't shit, go date a white man. Bitch, you've never dealt with one. How would you know? Now you got white women coming out and say, hey man, white men, they really jealous of the black man. And every white man I meet, first question they ask, did you date a black man? And if I did, now all of a sudden I ain't shit. So it's not all it cracked up to be. The grass ain't as greener over there as you think it is. All I'm saying, in my opinion, people should stick with their own.
And even with that, but it wasn't even about the interracial dating. It was about her comments about black people.
Right.
That was the biggest vocal point. Like, that's why people most men don't give a fuck. It was like, you didn't give a fuck. If that was if that was a man that happened to, she probably would have been online like, that's what his dumb ass get.
Facts.
So that's why niggas don't care. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. It wasn't even about that. And then to make matters worse, we know the history between black and white. So now we have more shit to put on it.
Like, what the fuck was you thinking anyway?
Yeah. That was spot on. I think a lot of conversations around it, or to, again, get away from just the cold, hard truth of the matter, right? Which was, it's ironic that happened. You was popping it, and then that happened. And it's unfortunate, but you cannot expect social media to not point that out.
The truth of the matter is that she died. What's secondary is the tweets, to me personally.
Well, we all gotta die, so it ain't like we really cares. People dying every motherfucking day.
Your death is trending.
Yeah, it's just hers is popularized.
That's it.
It's people in Iran getting bombed to smithereens, like you said earlier. Nobody cares.
Relationship with what she looked like, though. In my personal opinion, I feel like, and that's the thing. That's a whole nother conversation that I'm not trying to get that deep into. But we also do have a very picky and choosy culture.
Sure.
Everybody's death does not get popularized. A vice mayor in Florida just got killed by her black husband 2 weeks ago. That shit did not go viral. That shit is not all over the news like this girl's is. A black woman pastor just got off by her black pastor husband the day after that, just less than a week ago. That shit not going viral. So again, it's trendy because of what she looked like. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day.
Is it because of what she looked like or because it was a white man involved?
And
I think
because
it's what she
because of what she
Yeah,
said.
exactly.
This is hold on. This is the thing.
That's what made everybody.
What she said.
Everybody did a deep dive.
I don't think
Oh,
it's
hold
about
on.
what she
What
said.
what he looked like? He's white,
I
and
think
she
it's about
worshipped
it being
white.
interracial.
She worshipped
Well, I
white men, and she hated black men, and
Because
she was
anytime
black.
a white man kills a black woman, it goes viral. Respectfully, anytime, like even with the young girl that recently, I think it was like sometime last year, there was a younger girl. In
but
college.
why
Hold on,
why
anytime
whenever
an American gets killed outside of America, it goes viral. Because y'all remember the girls who fought in Mexico and she broke her
black
back.
girl, right?
Black on
Shit-
black.
Shit went viral. So it's like, of course, a white dude
Great
in
point.
Tanzania hanging up a black girl
Great
in a
point.
closet in a hotel, that's going to go viral.
on her
Like,
birthday?
it's going to go viral. And especially because of what she said and that interracial factor. So, I mean, is it, I'm not saying one matters more than the other, but you can't expect it to not go viral more than that because this is what the media
It's
makes
like-
their,
it's
their
like
bread
pe-
and butter off of.
It's like people that even bring the conversation up. Like before I even heard about it, people telling me, "Oh, you heard about that story about the black girl that got hung and she was talking about how she hate niggas or hate black people." Like that is attached to what the whole thing is. It ain't like they just saying, "Hey, you heard about the it's crazy that the girl got strangled in Africa." Like they're attaching that
Perfect
with every
example.
conversation.
James Earl Jones, y'all know who he is. I believe he voiced in The Lion King. He passed away. And he has problematic interviews talking about black women.
Brought it up.
When he
yeah.
passed away, that's all they brought up. So it's like, this is what's gonna happen. And they may have felt empathy for him if he didn't do that, but he did it. So I think on one end, you're gonna have people say, you know what, fuck that side of it. This is a human being. She didn't deserve that, which I do believe, and I think he should get as many years as they can give him. But on the other end of that, you're gonna have people who say, fuck that bitch. Unfortunately, and she got what she got. And that's in every single situation. Kanye, anything you think about is duality. So to not expect people to feel some type of way based off of what she said, people aren't making assumptions. People aren't just making baseless claims about her character. You put this out here. So now your family or whoever is alive to deal with that, they have to come with terms with that. And that's what that is, unfortunately.
I'm
to
gonna just say this. Whenever something like this happens, you do not have to do the whataboutism. We don't have to point out how many black men slayed black women over here on this side of the country and it didn't get the news out. We don't need to do that. Let's focus on this. That's what it is. Like, I don't understand why women feel the need to always do that. Not just signaling you out, but you did do that several times. Like, well,
because I
a
think
black
that it's
man
already
did this.
been
Well,
censored.
we're not worried about that right now. This white man did this to a black woman,
that's my point.
and to justify what he did, we're blaming black men again? Like, why do black men always get the blame
No,
for
I
what
don't
everybody's
think it's about
doing?
Blaming. I think it's if the story was this girl got killed by this particular person and it was left at that, we could leave it at that. Now that the tweets are being brought up and black men are censoring themselves in those tweets, whether she said it right, she said it because she didn't just say shit about black men. She also said shit like, I want mixed babies and all this other type of shit. So there was
That's
other,
just
there was
as
That's
bad.
more
the same
self-hate.
thing,
but that's
yeah.
what I'm getting at. But see, for me, I'm not reading that from a gender perspective. I'm looking at it like, damn, she don't like black people in general. I'm not looking at it centering like, oh, she just don't like black men.
But
I think that the
What has she said
conversation
about
gets
black
censored.
women, though? She has, to
Zero
my knowledge, she
tweets.
said zero things about hating black women. So how can you just look at that from a black
Because
person
because,
aspect?
Because I seen the tweets where she said, one, don't pedestalize white men. I saw the other tweet where she said, I've dated other types of men, blah, 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 but I still love black men, right? I also seen the tweets that y'all are talking about, including the ones about wanting mixed babies and stuff like that. It's not that she had to directly say something about black women for me to be like, okay, she also did. If you say that about black men, respectfully, I'm gonna automatically think that you feel that way about black women in general. I don't give I'm not me personally. That's a me thing. I'm looking at it like if she gonna say, if anybody, just like if a black man says that about black women, I'm still gonna look at that from that's how he feel about people. Because at the end of the day, like that's more so a sexuality thing. Of course, you're gonna say a certain thing about a certain gender because that's who you're attracted to. So I'm not really holding on to it in that way. I'm looking at it like, damn, she felt some type of way about black people in general and possibly dark-skinned black
That's
people.
I'm just saying,
that's a vague viewpoint.
wait,
I'm calling cap on that.
wait,
That's cap. I don't believe none of that.
So what is the difference between black people and black men because black men are still black people. So did she have to include men, women, and in between that were black for us to get the notion that she doesn't like
well,
black men?
I'm not saying that there's a difference. I'm not saying that
So
there's
you
a
saying
difference.
she hated herself?
Well,
That's where I'm more so concluded to.
Okay.
Yes, I'm more so saying that, yes, I think that she said some horrible shit about black men. I also think that there's a very big possibility that she felt that way about black people.
But
in
it's
general.
plenty of people that love themselves as black people that just don't date, that date outside their
Right.
race. Like they don't have to hate the whole race because they don't, like you just said, you can have a bad experience with black women. I know people that be like, I'm done with black bitches for a minute. Like, and they only dating specifically Mexicans or other races. They don't hate themselves. All their whole friend group, they family is
Right.
still
I'm
black.
pretty sure all her friends were
Yeah.
still black.
but
I'm
if
just
you're
saying this.
If you're saying what she said, what came across to you was she hates black people.
I'm not even saying that she hates black. Like, this is my thing. I'm more so saying that when I read those tweets, right? When I saw what people were reposting, when I went to her page myself, I looked at it more so as, because I do believe that if you have some form of self-hatred, and self-hatred doesn't have to be you hate yourself literally. It can also be you hate your attributes, you hate your personality, you hate the way that you do certain. It doesn't have to necessarily mean
That's you.
specifically black. Yes, but I'm saying that there's people can love themselves and be like, but I don't like my skin complexion, but I love who I am. Oh, I love who I am, but I don't like my hair texture.
You lying to
Nah,
yourself.
you're lying.
though.
That's a lie.
That's
You
a-
can't
that's
love
cool.
yourself
You
and hate
can't,
your
yeah.
skin. That's
But
that's a
that's not up to
contradiction.
us
That
to-
makes
that's
zero
not
sense.
Up to us to decide, though.
But it
That
is though. It is up to us.
It's no
you
way.
can't say
If
I
we
love
could-
myself, but damn, I hate my skin. Nigga, you don't love yourself.
But
That's
y'all not
cap.
getting what I'm saying.
I'm
saying
absolutely
that-
not.
I'm saying that regardless of how we feel about it, that's how motherfuckers live their life every goddamn
People lie
day.
to themselves every day. You got fat, obese people saying, I love the skin I'm in and I'm healthy.
But that's
They're
but
lying.
That's the reality.
No, but they're lying.
The
that's
reality
cool.
is
The
they're
reality
fat
is
and
it's a
unhealthy.
lie.
But that's cool. But
Okay, but that doesn't take the fact away that they're lying. So
I'm
you can say
agreeing
it,
that they're
but you're lying.
I'm agreeing that they're lying. I'm just saying that me personally, I'm not centering one gender over the other in this particular case. I'm not particularly
Because it's a
centering-
woman. That's why. If this is a man, we have a different conversation. And the only point I'm making is we don't have to always include black men with whataboutism. Well, what if it was a black man? Well, it wasn't. It was a fucking white guy. Let's keep it there. We didn't have shit to do with this. Like you went around the whole, well, in Tanzania, they doing
That's
this.
why I was
and
asking,
that's
how
what
do you
the
feel
fuck?
about it?
Like,
Yeah.
they
But
don't
that's
even,
the same thing that happened.
it's like,
when
no,
that black
a
man
white
got
man
killed
did
by the
some
white
racist
girl.
shit,
A bunch
and
of
that's
black
it.
women said the same thing. When that black boy got killed by I don't know.
They
it was in
crucified
college.
that nigga.
That's cool, but
They
that's
was
not
dancing
every
on his
single- but
grave.
That's not every single black woman. There were also black women that were saying
We
why
never
do
said
we have
every
to be-
single.
Why?
But
we
that was
have
the
to say
pop. That was
But
the
we
most
have to
thing
say
that we seen. No, we don't. We don't have to say every single. Nothing in the world is
No, I'm
absolute.
saying we have to
And
say
for the
that we're
record,
not
I looked
saying
at I
every
looked at
single.
him and scratched my head too and said, "Well, shit,
Fuck was
buddy.
you thinking, nigga?
Yeah, what was you thinking? It's not gender specific over here. It's like it's both. If you say some shit and then that happens, whether you man, female, trans, dog, cat, whatever the fuck, hey, you put it out there.
I
That's how
pack
I'm
of the
looking at
airs. This shit gas or what?
Yeah.
That's how I
If
feel
you ain't
about
got
it.
nothing nice to say, don't say nothing.
But on that note,
they do that with other races too, though. Don't get it twisted.
But that's the
dating
point. We
outside of
missing the
other races?
goalpost. Don't make it about nothing else
Yeah,
but what
it's
the
just
point
about
is.
her.
Yeah.
just stick there.
She fucked
Period.
up. At the end of the day, she should have been popular. You wanted more. If you really want sympathy, it's that because when it's your time, it's your time. We don't got no calling on the number of hairs on our head. But at the end of the day, if you gonna go out, you put out to get back. You know what I mean? How you start is how you finish.
Because black men don't do that.
No, we don't.
Like we don't see a white woman unalive a black man and go, well, why this story about this black chick who shot her baby daddy didn't go viral?
Right.
Like we just don't do that shit.
We like,
so
bro,
that,
you
that's
knew
like
better.
some underlying programming that we really got to get to the root of why
And as
women
a culture,
always do
we
that.
know. Listen, you know the crazy part about it. If you know better, you do better. Because as a culture, we already know, and doesn't say I'm lying, that black women date white women, white men for money, and we date white women for status. So at the end of the day, you know, whatever. If you
I
go
ain't
cross
dating no
that,
white
I ain't
girl.
dating
I
no
ain't
white
dating
bitch for no status.
man.
That ain't no
Listen,
status to
I'm
me.
the status
If you
symbol,
pimp,
motherfucker.
but
I am the status.
Let's
But-
all right. You confident black
Right,
males.
this car
I'm
around
saying-
there.
I'm just saying,
All
nigga,
right.
I
All right, you
don't
confident
view
black
white
males,
women
all
as
right?
a status.
All
Like I
right.
just don't.
But let's get off the general point of what we grew up on. A black man with a white woman equaled what? Or a lighter woman? Status.
It never really. See, it just depends on the lens. It depends on the lens how you view the world.
To me,
because
it did.
More money.
to me, it never really bothered me. But sometimes, like I messed with white women before. It's just, to me, it's like, it's a barrier there that's unspoken. Like certain things, it's just like, y'all won't ever be able to relate like you will with a black woman versus a white woman, in my opinion. Not saying that they can't work for people, but just for me, they don't connect to you don't meet in the center.
And that's with
Like,
every race.
but
Because
our
I done
OGs taught
dealt
us
with
that
almost
certain
every
things,
race.
certain things you can have conversations, but like, you just ain't even gonna understand. You can't
Facts.
fucking understand because you ain't black.
I'm gonna say
Exactly.
All right. So when
Exactly.
Master's wife come out and pick out the strongest nigga she can find and knock it back, status.
It's a fetish.
That ain't no status.
Black
nigga.
black women are fetishes. Why you think all that shit was happening back then, nigga?
I
They
wouldn't
didn't
say-
want to
hold
be
on.
seen with them black women. They
Came out like, what
no,
about life?
nigga.
It's not.
I'm the
It's
pappy.
it's not status. It's like a forbidden fruit.
Do you
So I
really-
think that's
Exactly.
what you get
There
at.
we
But it's
go,
not
my
no
bad.
status
There we
symbol
go.
to crack a white bitch.
Excuse me, my bad, my
or date a
bad.
white bitch.
It's a
That's not-
forbidden fruit. It's jungle fever.
Bro,
To me,
had to turn.
I'm not looking at you like, oh, you got a white girl. Damn, you out of here. Like,
Yeah, I ain't thinking like
Hey,
that.
bro
then
got
I did,
turbulence
though.
with them planes, nigga. This shit rocky, nigga. Hey, that nigga driving sprint planes, nigga. He flying
Oh,
What's
serious.
this,
Sprint Airlines,
Come on,
nigga.
man. Y'all know damn well back in the day we knew. Hey, look, even if
Speak
you
for yourself,
white
nigga.
is right. White is right.
Hey, he projecting right now.
Hey.
That nigga projecting.
Get about that mindset. Come on, bro. Yeah.
Status symbol to me was beauty. If you had a bad bitch, that was status. I didn't care what
I'm
color
not
she was.
saying that's what I do.
You said we
I'm
grew up, it was
saying
white
as
is
a
right.
black-
Yeah,
White
that's right,
ain't never
huh?
been right for me.
Hey, we all felt that way,
How
huh,
many movies
nigga?
y'all seen that in? Come on, man.
No,
Stop.
That's
what
programming.
they taught you,
Frank,
nigga.
Luke, I'm just saying.
That's
this is what-
programming.
and that's what American culture is. That's what we are programmed to what we see. So if we see that, you got to understand, like she was saying, that people have different point of views and they take things a little bit differently. And that's why, as a culture, we're fucked up because we watch too many views and we have too much of a choice of the multiple views. We don't have like, all right, you're Arabic or you're this and that.
This is the thing, right? See,
Y'all don't
but
hear
no,
me.
Hey,
no,
on that
no,
note,
no, because
share,
let me say this
subscribe
real
to the
quick
channel.
because it goes back to the point where
Get
she
up
made,
outta
because
here.
you saying we grew up that way. I didn't, like we said. We had the Cosbys, you had the Parkers, you had the Family Matters, you had
You
the
had Dolomite.
and Living in Color.
Martin.
You had millions of black shows
Business
from
Inc., we had all
kids.
type of shit.
What's the
Yeah.
one-on-one?
Pull the
You
tag.
had, you know what I mean? You had a lot of different things. So I didn't really see it that way. But if that's your point of view,
I mean,
that's cool.
even in the
Yeah.
cartoons, like Hey Arnold was not the same color.
Gerald,
as Penny
nigga,
Man.
Gerald was black.
we knew was the nigga.
Nigga, I was the top nigga. Fucking nigga. Even in
And he
Doug,
was
nigga.
top in sports, nigga.
Even in
My
Doug,
mother-
nigga, Skeeter, nigga, your twin, nigga was black, nigga. Fucking nigga be. Hey, Barware, no way, man. Run it
Hey,
up,
we love
man.
y'all.
Share, like, subscribe to the channel. She's definitely a good guest. Hopefully she be reoccurring. You feel me? We finally got a female who can talk some high power shit. You know what I'm saying? Give them your information where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, you can find me at Griot of the Diaspora. Griot is spelled Griot. It is French for West African storyteller. I have my website, I have my YouTube, and I have my TikTok and Instagram.
Y'all go support her, man. She got a
Viral
little.
girls in the building.
Yeah. I don't know. She might not like that little kickback we gave her. But we know you good under the
Nah,
pressure.
she
so,
had to get put in the hot seat a
yeah,
little bit.
one time. Yeah.
She had to get put in the hot seat a little bit.
Viral, no way, man. Go run it up.
Hey, on the next episode, I want to know about them long ass nails because I always ask all my
It's my
homegirls about them.
business. Go to griotthediaspora.com/shop. Thank you.
Ah, look. Bang.
Flash me and I'm out, man. Hit the button, Carly.
Ain't no handouts, I did it from the ground up. In the streets, thugging hardest where they found us. Got a problem, nigga, watch my troopers mount up. My bitch a thing too, and you a lame though. You niggas ain't outside, yeah, we came through. You want your lights up, we put you on the shade.